YouTube listeners will hear whenever they tune into this little Jiminy Jam. Hamu and the D-Boys.
I love it. I love it.
Hamu and the D-Boys. Oh, I gotta go turn off our channel point rewards.
I'd listen to that album.
Me too.
Trying to. Who am I? Oh, I'm Bruce Goody. Had to remember what character I was playing.
Yeah. Somebody's having an existential crisis over there.
These things happen.
Is it me or game me that's having the crisis?
Well, I'm kind of always having one in reality, so it's just whether the game me is synced up or not.
Like to be in tune.
Is it that? Are we in? Oh God, we're not. Wait, are we not? No, we're not. Oh God, we're not.
We're not in sync. Don't you need to be having a crisis right now? I hope my phone lasts. I think it will.
What you got?
I got like 20-30% battery.
Oh yeah, you got it.
You
just
will.
Gonna have to memorize some stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like everything.
Or you could upgrade to that Google Pixel, am I right? I'm at 70% and it's going to last me 2 full days.
Is that what you did? You've upgraded to a Google Pixel?
Yeah, well, when my last
This
phone
episode brought to you by Google Pixel.
Dang it.
I got a Google Pixel.
I almost got that one.
and then I upgraded even further beyond to the Google Pixel 4a.
Oh man.
And this is to go even further beyond.
So Google is like way up in the orifice at this point now, right? You're like
what?
Way up in the orifice. You're like 3 deep. Like, is this the Pixel 3, Pixel 8, Pixel?
No, this is the Pixel 4a 5G.
4a 5G. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is only my second Pixel that I've owned, and only the first one, the first actual strong smartphone that I bought new. So
I remember you got the other one, like your last one. It was pretty cool.
yeah, it was good, and the only reason I swapped it out was because the charging port started crapping out on me, and I was like, well, that and the battery. So
was it USB-C?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
I've come up with an idea for a phone case that, like, it has its own charging port and it just plugs into your phone. That way, when you plug in your phone, you're actually plugging it into the case, and if it ever gets worn out, you just switch out the case.
That's a good idea.
It is.
It makes sense to me.
Welcome to the stream, Kiki. How do you do?
How's your delivery service?
Kiki's delivery service.
That's one of the few of those that of the Miyazaki movies I haven't seen.
I think that might be the only one. For some reason, I have a memory of that girl on a witch's broom. Is that what we're talking about?
That is accurate.
Okay.
I
Definitely
have
so.
no idea what y'all are talking about.
You have failed.
Sorry.
The Studio Ghibli movies?
Yep.
Studio Giblet.
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 Studio Giblet.
Was Steam Boy one of those?
No,
Okay,
it was not.
Then I have not seen any of those.
You haven't seen any of those?
I have not seen any.
God. So you haven't seen like Totoro, you haven't seen Howl's Moving Castle.
Are those Studio Giblet movies?
They are.
Yes, those are all
Okay.
fairly saturated in the
Well,
giblet.
Rewind back to when I said I haven't seen any of those.
Mhm.
That includes those.
Right. Wow.
Nice.
See, I thought at some point you might be like, "Oh yeah, that one." No.
Kiki, that is a perfect thing for you to say. You may get some help on that.
Well, yeah, we're not even playing just yet. Real quickly, what I will say, Kiki, is that during D&D, we're about to start recording the podcast, the actual episode of Dungeons and Dragons that we're going to record. Once that begins, I won't respond too terribly much to chat. Tanktown Bot will let you know that as well periodically, but I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. I will read everything you say, but I will likely not respond if there is a lot of chat. There rarely is a lot of chat. Most people who come by have kind of jumped on board with that, but just to let you know, since I think this is your first D&D stream. I did turn on the timer, but what were you mentioning, Bryce? We want to be a little more instructional.
Well, I was just saying that I've never played a druid. You've played a little bit of a monk, or you played a little bit of a bard.
Yeah.
I don't think Hamu has played a monk much before, so
We about to monk it up.
we should be able to. We're going to be doing a lot of research in the middle of stream, I think, so we'll be able to share the ins and outs of the game as we go along.
For sure. Bryce,
I may not have played much before, but I know much of many classes.
how
You cannot count on Xenos for any information. The rest of us will help you out, Kiki.
will you get a little closer to the old microphone?
I will.
Bryce?
I'll slide the keyboard back. And is this better?
Yeah, much better.
And me, do I still sound pretty?
It
Well,
seems
you
like
sound pretty, but
Bryce took a little bit of your volume away, I think.
Yeah, we just kind of put the mic in the middle of the table. So.
Yeah, you good.
You good?
Yeah, I think you're good. As I believe Zencaster, like I said, as long as Zencaster stays the way it ought to do it, it should be fine.
Excellent.
It normally stays the way it ought to do it.
As long as the internet stays up. Okay, are you ready? Is everybody ready to begin? What's up, Opons? We're about to begin, my friend.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
sir.
I'm on your schedule. Let's roll while we roll, and then we're gonna roll it.
Okay.
So we're gonna try to wrap up this week. We can always continue on if we want to, but shooting for a wrap up this week. Are we planning on a return to Medine in the near future?
I believe, yes, we are planning on a return to Medine next week if possible, as long as the boys are available.
Excellent. I brought a bag lunch, and I'm ready for my field trip.
Wonderful. Josh, I'm gonna do the same, start the podcast, open it up, and then turn it over to you, my friend.
Go for it, brother. Let's do this.
All right, beginning in 3, 2, 1. Oh, never mind. 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dungeon Boys. We are still in between The Curse of Strahd and Season 2, and we are about to turn the show over to Josh, who is our DM for this little one-shot we're doing, which has turned into a 2-episode one-shot. Really, the naming convention could use some work, but it doesn't matter because we're doing it. But I'm going to turn it over to Josh without even introducing myself so he can get things going. Josh, the floor is yours.
Neat. So with that, we don't even know who you people are. Keith, I know that you're usually the DM. I got the hot seat tonight. Kind of explain your character in like one breath.
One breath. I am Colin, the Dragonborn Bard, who is Dragonborn to critique and be a little bit snooty.
I
There
got
you
a
go.
breath in there.
That was a slight breath.
You shut your mouth. I
Right.
have to breathe. I'm not a reptile like you.
All right, Zenas, you get 3/4 of a breath. What you got?
3/4 of a breath.
That was it.
My name, I am Zenith, playing as Hamu, the kobold monk, Way of the Ascendant Dragon. He reveres Bahamut and believes that Dragonborn are the next evolutionary step for kobolds and followers of Bahamut. So, there it is.
That'll do it. And then, Bryce, you got a half a breath.
Bruce.
Behold the Bruce. That is all you need to know.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
am Bryce, and I'm playing as Bruce Goodale. That is a funny because he is a brewmaster and he brews good ale. He is also a druid. He uses his magic druid powers to grow rare plants and such like that are good additives for his ales, so he makes the best.
I like it. Anybody want to give us like a quick rundown of what happened last week? Or I guess that's a whole party kind of deal.
People turned into pools of blood.
they did.
Right. That normally
did.
happens when we're involved. So
First things, we were clearing out a mine. Thought the whole game was going to take place in that mine because mines are spooky and this is supposed to be a spooky campaign.
Yes, we were a little bit confused.
it's all good. It's all good. So your job was to clear out some stuff in a mine, hoping to get some cool rewards and earn your blue cloaks for the Blue Cloak Guild and be like an elite in your profession.
After murdering 4 dust bunnies and a spider,
Yep.
we 1.5 hours later, we emerged from the mine victorious, and we're going to receive our robes of majesty. When all of a sudden, did we see the comet and all that?
Yeah, we kind of started like in the middle of everything instead of like having a 3 hour lead up to okay, let's have an adventure.
Yeah.
We just jumped right into it. So the party had noticed a strangely colored comet that was in the sky overhead, and it was a big celebration outside for the spring thaw. And they're going to get back to mining up in the fields. They're trying to open this new mine, and a light shone down from the comet, and a wave of necromantic energy washed over the land.
Some people got turned into hamburger meat.
Right.
Mhm.
Other people's got mutated, like into little zombie type deals. And we are apparently unaffected. Apparently, it is apparent that that is the case.
Apparently.
We do not know that for a fact.
True.
But we are on the run from the mine, and we are headed towards the river, where we will take a boat down to the next town to get help for this town. I
Right.
think. Correct? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Which some of us are thinking it might be an exercise in futility considering the transformation of a whole town into walking corpses, but it seems like the best plan we've got.
Yeah.
Well, and it was it was a quick description because I was trying to have like a sense of urgency to it, but I will slow down to explain quickly the light, the wave of necromantic energy that came down when this purplish light kind of came from the comet and washed across the land. Things were revealed, like the ever favorite skin kites were flying up in the
Ooh.
sky. You didn't know what those were yet.
Don't like those.
Right. I'll make sure to get you a stuffed one. You can sleep with it every night.
So this might be meta and might be something we're supposed to be figuring out on our own.
Maybe.
It might be something you're willing to explain,
Who
but
knows?
is the stuff like the skin kites and things like that, was that stuff there? It's just this new necromantic light has revealed that it was there?
All I can tell you is what your character actually saw.
Okay.
So
then
your
that was a
character
meta
did not
question.
see anything there, and the light washed over the land, and then it was there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Bryce, you're a
it's
little
like
quiet.
it revealed a certain layer that was there.
I'm leaning back. I'm trying to pull up my character sheet and stuff like
Okay,
that.
gotcha. Sorry.
My B.
There you go. So anyway, we got a town full of Zambos. The celebration was interrupted. They made it across the festival grounds, and they have entered into the little small village that has popped up around this mine to kind of cater everybody.
Mhm.
They met with the innkeeper, who kind of beckoned them inside, offered them free room and board if they would just kind of help them keep that door closed for the night and keep out all the bad things.
We opted for Plan B.
Plan B was opted. So there was a dwarven woman who was there who was saying that we need to just chuck these fellas out on their butts because obviously they caused all this. Keith, Kyle Lynn, in his charming ways, charmed the, well, he's pretty much furniture. I forget the guy's name. Guari, that's him. Guari, a very, very large dwarven fellow, has now very quietly and not in so many words agreed to help you out in this one. So he is now rushed out the door and has got his arms open wide, pretty much like a bulldozer, just walking casually through a horde of zombies, just kind of pushing them ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the depths of that man-made hell came a giant of a man that the miners knew well.
Big John.
He picked up the timber that gave out with a groan, and like a mighty oak tree, he stood there alone. Big John.
Man, what
Big
a
John.
what a line. Like a mighty
Now,
oak
that's
tree.
the same character right there.
He
Yeah.
stood there alone.
Big John.
All right,
Let's
so
get it.
let's get up on in there. So y'all kind of rushed out. You were like, we're done with this. You rushed out into the night, and as soon as you went outside, there was a ghoul there to meet you. He was dispatched handily, but two of his buddies came around the corner, and they're like, "Oh, snacks." So we begin our adventure tonight. So you have just exited a little ramshackle inn, which has been quickly constructed. Yep, I see some shapes are being made here. Yep, got some shape going on. I like it.
I'm trying to kind of base it off of memory.
Yeah, just some little stuff going on. This town is just very, very quickly being constructed just to kind of cater to this mine. Nothing looks like it's more than a couple of months old at this point. So
Average D&D town, you say? Say no more. I'll draw it from memory.
All right, so on the north side of this thing, about 500 feet in a northward direction, that is where the river is at.
Okay.
And then the opposite direction, I think we said about 500 feet the other way, that was the entrance to the mine that y'all had to navigate through all that. So,
River is directly northwards, right?
river is directly in a northwards area. So,
Are the two ghouls between us and the river?
over in this area right here, because I've only got the mouse over here, and it's kind of hard to do mouse, keyboard, and DM at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Guari is over here. He is completely surrounded by a bunch of these zombos, and he is just kind of like pushing them in a little wave out ahead of him a little bit.
Nice.
But more coming in, more coming in, more coming in.
Zombies. Those red worm-like zombies everywhere.
Right.
But we encountered two specifically, right?
Right. So you got. I'm doing this with a mouse. Do not laugh. You got a ghoul there, and a ghoul here, which has just come around El Cornor, and they have spotted you people.
Oh, shoot.
So, roll your initiative.
Will do, brother.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Nat 20!
What?
Roll it again.
How are we opening a game with two Nat 20s?
I don't want to use it here, but it's I'm not God. I don't tell the dice where to go.
What'd you get on your second roll, Keith?
Oh, I need to roll again.
Well, we both got
13.
nat 20.
13.
I got a 6. You go. You have the more natural 20.
Z-Bro, what you got?
I got a 21.
Oh.
Though it is unnatural.
It is unnatural, but it is a higher number. We're gonna say that one is gonna go to first.
Wait, that's not.
Actually, no,
That's
Nat
not
20,
how that
yeah,
works.
We're gonna do yours first, Keith,
Yeah, and then Bryce, then
and
Zenus.
then Bryce's.
Kiki, if you're here still, that's a learning point for you. We use mostly 20-sided die for just about everything. And if you get a 20 on the 20-sided die, that's pretty much an instant success for basic things.
True this.
Nice.
But because me and Keith both got nat 20s, we had to re-roll, and whoever got the highest number the second time actually went first.
Yeah, Nat 20 is automatic. You got it. All right, so it looks as though Keith, you got this one. What you got for me?
All right. I see those things coming around the corner, and I take a moment to familiarize myself with my spells. I got a couple spells here, but I'm not exactly sure which ones I might want to use.
Okay. Just for reference, we're looking at a map here. I'm just gonna say they're about 20 feet away from you.
Okay. I'm going to cast what is something that will be probably quite frightening, if I pull it off. I'm going to cast Hideous Laughter on the one on the right.
Nice.
Hideous
That's
Laughter.
going to be messed up.
So yes, this is a ghoul, an undead creature coming around the corner. A creature of my choice that I can see within range perceives everything as hilariously funny and falls into fits of laughter if this spell affects it. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against my save DC or fall prone, becoming incapacitated and unable to stand up for the duration. A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less isn't affected.
Okay. You said what, intelligence or what?
4 or less, so I guess that would be like it would have to have more than a -5 as a modifier, I guess, right?
He's pretty close. He's got a 7. So
Heck
he's
yeah.
pretty close.
I've noticed that he looks just a little bit smart.
Right. All right. So roll it up for me. I got to pass what?
Yeah,
now?
wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw. All right. He is not. Guess what? Very wise.
Thank goodness.
It is a 17.
Good God. Okay. Well, he's just laughing on his way to us. Then he doesn't fall down.
Okay.
So
he's kind of got like a little tremor, a little shake going on, and a little twinkle to the eye, but otherwise it's not really incapacitated in that manner.
Boys, these things are smarter than they look.
Ironically, he's got just like a baseline 10 for wisdom. He's got a +0 on wisdom. I'm not really really sure how that works on a ghoul.
Baseline 10 is 0. I mean, that is.
I know, but he's got
baseline.
like a negative intelligence, but he's got a higher wisdom than intelligence. Weird. So,
Who know?
He is a creature of instinct, so that makes sense in a weird way.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Back to the game. RP.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Do the thing. Unless Keith, you got anything else? Bonus actions? or anything?
Bonus action. Yeah, I think I am gonna do a quick little bonus action. I'm gonna use a bardic inspiration. And usually Hamu is the one who goes in and like punches things, so I want him to have the extra dice if he needs it. So I pull my lyre off my back and I strum it one good time and I say I say to Hamu, "May Bahamut bless you."
Hold up. My computer was doing stuff.
Okay.
No.
I wanna say to that, like, what does it look like, Keith, when that happens? Do I feel like bolstered in some way?
Yes, you feel bolstered. You feel as though the next thing you do has a magical push behind it. And what that really translates to is that I give you a bardic inspiration die. So once within the next 10 minutes, you can roll a d8 and add it to your ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, whatever you make next. If you want to add it, you can choose when you add it. And you can add it after you roll, but before Josh tells you whether you succeed.
Cool. So when you when you do that, and I see you, and you say what you say, Hamu like turns back to you, and just with just like, not necessarily shock, but he's like in awe, and he's just like, "You have blessed me greatly. I will remember."
Well, yes, don't disappoint Bahamut by letting us die. Get out there.
And then he turns
I
around.
love it.
Sounds a lot like you're saying Muhammad.
Also, don't disappoint him as well.
Right. Or just in general, just don't disappoint.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else you got?
Nope, I'm done with that.
No other blessings you want to chuck out?
I do want to, like, if I'm far away, I want to move into the group.
Okay.
So I'll move
Moving
myself
right
in. Yep.
So, like the end, let me grab the mouse. It's kind of backwards on me. Where'd it go? All right. So on the end, I'm just going to take like a little yellow right here. There's a door right there that y'all just came out of. So that is the front of the end right there.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So it is now Bruce Goodale's turn.
Cool. I would like to cast the cantrip Mold Earth.
Ooh.
I can choose a portion of dirt or stone that I can see within range that fits within a 5-foot cube and manipulate it in one of the following ways. If you target an area of loose earth, you can instantaneously excavate it, move it along the ground, and deposit it up to 5 feet away. So, can I excavate the ground underneath one of those guys and deposit it around the hole that I excavated?
I don't see why not.
So it's a 5-foot hole with a 5-foot wall, so it's got like a 10-foot hole.
All right, Stanley Yellnets. Bryce's earthbending. I love it.
Hey, I'm a druid. It's what I do.
I still love it.
Digging them holes.
So yeah, I guess it doesn't. It specifically says it does not cause any damage. It does not have enough force to cause any damage.
Right.
But I suppose you'll have to make a climbing check to be able to get out, though.
I could kind of see that. Yeah. All right. So I'll make a hole. It's a brown hole. You going for the first one or the second one?
I'll go for number 2.
Number doso.
The one that's laughing maniacally.
Yeah. He'll be laughing too hard to concentrate on climbing out.
That's the hope.
Okay. Also, I have I cast mage armor before we started this run last week,
Mm-hmm.
and it lasts for 8 hours. So I still got that,
Yeah.
and my shillelagh lasts for 1 minute.
Mhm.
I have not cast it since we left the inn. Zenos, you said I can use a action cantrip and a bonus action cantrip?
You can use a bonus action spell with an action cantrip, so I assume the same rule applies for cantrips.
Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna cast Shillelagh on my staff. Yeah.
Shillelagh.
Just readying that one up for next go round.
Yeah.
Gird it. Okay. All right. Hamu, what you gonna do for us today?
Well, I'm gonna do as I do, and I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna punch. Gonna punch that one. Number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
The laughing hole.
Right in the punch.
Right in the punch.
Right in the punch.
Let's see. I can do some type of special damages when I do it.
Okay. Got plenty of movement. Yeah, it's like 20 feet. You're good.
I'm gonna with each hit. I'm gonna punch him. I'm gonna punch at him 3 times. It's gonna deal cold, fire, and lightning damage, respectively.
Ooh, okay.
So let's see if I can punch him up. 22.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
And 11.
No.
Okay.
So you got 1, 2, but you zoomed past on a 2.
8. So 16 damage to that guy.
16. All right, that was number 1 over there. All right. He is definitely bloodied, but he's still hanging in there. Got anything else for him?
No. That's all I'm gonna do.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, you're coming in with these old elemental attacks, but that last one just kind of whiffs right past him as he kind of stumbles a little bit. Yeah, you definitely put a hurting on that one right there.
Don't forget your
now
bardic inspiration when you need it.
Somewhere, David Bowie just winked a little bit.
I now remember why playing a bard was hard, because like the way I can help is only if we all remember I can help, and many times I would forget that I could help.
Well, you're mostly like a control type character. You kind of buff and debuff, so you're not too great at combat. You're more indirectly moving the battlefield around.
I don't know about that, Zenus. I brought a slingshot and ball bearings to this adventure, so I'd say
you're right. You're
pretty much a warrior.
I stand corrected. You pack a mean punch in there with your steel balls.
A verified badass right there.
I love holding my slingshot in this fight.
Just ready to cut loose.
Yep.
Love it. All right. It is now Ghoul number Uno's turn. He is going to claw upon you, Ohamu.
You can try.
I mean, he's going to try. We're going to find out. It's 22 to hit.
Well, he going to do.
Oh, no.
Okay. It is 2d4 plus the old 2 of damage. So that is a 2. That is a 2 plus the old 2. That's kind of like a 6. So you take 6 of them slashing damage.
I take it.
Are you an elf or an undead? Probably not.
What?
So you don't have to succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw.
Okay, I'll do it.
There you go. No.
That's an 11, so...
Okay. That passes.
Nice.
Very, very nice.
Scaly hide of my teeth, I tell you what.
That's all he's got. That's all he's got. Number 2. Ghoul number 2 is going to attempt a strength check to climb up out of this hole that he has now found himself in. He's found it amusing. He is still kind of like a very raspy, just like a cackling going on, but he is confused by the hole. So let's see if he's got it.
That's a whole lot of confusion.
That is not. He's got a 6 to get out of that hole, so ain't happening. So he's gonna stay down in yonder hole. Guari, your very easily convinced large dwarven friend he has moved forward another 5 feet and gathered another 5 zombies behind him.
Nice.
However, there are now some that are trying to come in from the sides. The zombie horde is beginning to grow and press in against him. Bryce is moving it on El Mapo.
Nice.
There you go. He's doing a thing. And guess what? It was kind of fun while it lasted, fellas. But there's two more ghouls coming up around the corner.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
To us?
Coming round the
Yeah,
corner.
they're coming around the other corner.
Up and down the street.
Behind, like, so they were on like the top corner at the end. You got two more coming around the other corner at the end.
So below us or?
Here, let me put it on the map. Yeah, it's gonna be below you on the map.
Okay.
So
I got some medicine for this as long as my spells work.
I got a G3.
But everybody knows I'm not good at casting spells, so.
Oh, you got this. You got this.
Bryce never lets me forget. Oh, you don't know how to cast spells. Man.
Making sure you don't forget.
You're right. You lest I forget.
Lest we forget. Where's your delete button, right? Or you just use backspace. I got you.
Yeah, the delete button is built into the.
It's so bizarre.
I'm just going to be K, by the way, instead of KL. That was confusing.
I just want to say that I've got my initiative order going on here. Yours is K, Bryce is B, Zenas, yours is H. Why'd you have to screw me up like that?
Penis.
What would the next have been?
Z.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Keith Bryce. Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah. All right, so that one is
You
going
make
to
one of
be.
Zuko.
All right, so that ghoul number 3 is actually going to get his attack in. He is going to run straight for you, Bruce. He's coming to you with a claw.
It didn't use his turn or his movement speed to get from behind to in.
Now he just showed up into the initiative order.
Well, that's convenient.
Isn't it? So he's probably not doing a whole lot. With the old claw attack, he's got a 7. Is that going to hit your AC?
That willn't.
All right, but he is just going to park his lovely self right up here in your face.
Hey guys, I don't think there's any end to these things out here. We're probably going to need to get a move on pretty soon.
Yes, I'd like to get away.
All right. Top of the order, going back to Kylin.
G4's not getting a turn?
Not yet. I rolled up an
Okay,
initiative.
gotcha.
He's actually going to go after Hamu.
I understand. All right.
I just inserted them into play.
Bruce, do you think you can get away from that ghoul there?
Yeah, I should be alright.
All right, I'm going to try something. I'm going to cast another little spelly do. Shoot, man, I'm almost out of second level spell slots. I hope this works.
If he knew how to be a spellcaster, he wouldn't run out so much.
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to do some work here. I'm gonna cast Crown of Madness on ghoul number 1.
God.
One
Okay,
humanoid.
go back to number 1.
These would count as humanoids, would they not?
Yeah.
They are humanoid.
One humanoid of my choice that I can see within range must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by me for the duration. While the target is charmed in this way, a twisted crown of jagged iron appears on its head, and a madness glows in its eyes. The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that I mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if I choose no creature or if none within its reach. On your subsequent turns, you must use your action to maintain control over the target, or the spell ends. Also, the target can make a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of its turns. On a success, the spell ends. So, wisdom saving throw.
Unless it's a very low number that he's got to pass. He rolled a 6.
Heck yeah! Take that Crown of Madness. He had to beat a 15.
He's got that crown of jagged thorns just appearing out of nowhere.
On his head.
On the dome piece. Now, he attacks a creature of your choice every turn, right? Melee attack.
On its turn, so we won't do anything on its turn, but I get to choose what a creature it attacks.
Gotcha. Okay. And he's got to re-roll that every turn, right?
At the end of his turn, he can re-roll.
Okay. All right. He's not a super wise fella, so
Yep.
I got you. Okay. All right. So, ghoul number 1 up there in yonder corner.
Oh, unless you're... Were you saying it's his turn? I was going to move.
No.
Okay,
I was just saying he has got the crown of thorns going on.
Splendid.
All right, go ahead. Do your
Now
thing.
I would like to move. How big are our squares? 5 feet or 10 feet or what?
He's about 20 feet away. I'm gonna say those are 10-foot squares.
All right, I'm gonna move over here to Hamu, and I'm going to say to Bruce as I leave, Bruce, I believe I have control over this ghoul. It shouldn't bother Hamu anymore. We might be able to break through and get to the river. And I run over to Hamu, and I also tell him, you shouldn't have to worry about that ghoul much longer.
Excellent.
Good work there, Kai.
Thank you.
I kind of see Hamu as like a very small, very scaly Christopher Walken.
Yeah, he's very wiry as well. So
Just personality wise, little squinty eyes too.
Is it my turn?
I suppose.
Cool. I'm going to use my action to disengage from G3
No, okay.
and run
Oh, which way?
towards them.
Okay. Straight up.
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to love
Let's go.
me forever?
Like, are you interposing yourself? Or are you
I'm running away.
so are you hoping to get your full 30 feet and head this way?
Well, that's a lot of 30 feet. You said those is 10.
Yeah,
I'll
you
down
was-
here.
you was
So
right
1,
here.
2, 3. I'll be right there.
Rachon. Okay. All right. Movement speed and disengage. Anything else you got for me?
That's it.
Yeah, pretty much it. All right. Hamu.
well, I'm gonna just punch at this guy. Cause why not? I mean,
Why
as
not?
well. Also, is anyone of my friends within 5 feet of me?
All of us.
Yeah,
Excellent, I
I'm
have
gonna say Keith
advantage.
is like right on the edge of that. So Kylin is right on the edge of your range.
Cool. Okay, that's 23 for the first one,
Oh yeah.
and 21 for the second one. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna use my bonus action to attack this turn. I'm just gonna hope that the first two do it.
Okay.
So 5 and 7 damage of the fire variety.
Of number one.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, does that break the crown of madness? But number one is now deceased again.
Oh,
So number one is now deadified. He slumps over into a pile of ghoulish corpse, and that's about it. That's all he does. So
A pile of goo.
right. Anything else you got?
Yeah. A couple of things depending. I turn to my two companions and I say, "So are we running away?"
That's my vote.
yes, that's the plan.
Good. And then I'm gonna move my 40 feet of movement. Well, what lies between where I am and upward 40 feet?
Well, there's one ghoul corpse you got to step over a little bit. And then, let's see, 40 feet, there's 10, 20, 30, 40. There's just like another little house over here on your right hand side. That's about
Okay.
it.
I didn't want to like run into any zombies or anything on the way, but yeah, I do that.
Nah, that's later.
Excellent. And then I like turn around to the guys and just like wave my hand and yell, "Come on!"
Nice. All right. It is now ghoul number 4's turn. He sees what's happening, what's going on, and he is going to shuffle his way up towards your area.
I'm trying, Hamu. I'm built more for torque than I am for speed.
All right. It is number 2's turn. He's going to see if he can make another strength check to get up out of the hole. Can he do it? No, it is an 11. So I'm gonna say he kind of gets a little bit of a handhold on the side. He gets a purchase on it, but it just kind of, it is not fine stonework. It is just crumbling around his hands.
Yeah, it says it's loose earth, so
Yeah.
he'd either have to dig it out or
Yeah, it's just it's not happening. It's not happening. So it's pretty much like he is in his own grave at this point. So, all right. So going back down the line, it is number 1's turn. He is going to sit there in a pile of dead ghoul.
His
Number
crown
three.
of madness glimmering
His
with what
crown
could
of
have been.
madness, sadly, is no longer applicable, Keith, my man. It actually like evaporates in like a little black wisp of smoke, and is no more.
'Tis all right.
It's no more. Yeah. Number three is actually going to see what's going on, but the door to the inn is still open, and the innkeeper is still just inside the door trying to get everything closed back again after y'all rushed out. Seeing the innkeeper there and seeing your fairly formidable party up ahead, he is actually going to beeline it straight inside and head straight for the innkeeper. You hear screaming inside the inn.
Ah, that's a shame.
Moving on then.
At least they all get to go out together.
Yes, utilitarianism would say that we would be able to do more good by going down the river than saving the one innkeeper and dying ourselves, so I don't feel too terribly bad.
Yeah, getting help's more important than that lady that wanted us to die anyway.
Yeah, she can suck it.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
All right. Before you beeline it behind Hamu, you actually can see just between those buildings as you're passing out of view, Wari is still pushing ahead. He is making a mighty effort of this as more zombies are actually crowding in around him.
Even
He,
managed to push the
he
building.
pushed
He
the
managed to
boat.
push the building a little bit. Now he's actually heading that way, and you can see the zombies are starting to kind of press in around him. It has become like a small wave of zombies at this point, and they're starting to kind of like topple over themselves, World War Z style.
Weird, there weren't even that many people in this town.
Well, there were about 200 or so outside during the thing, so yeah,
I was just joking.
right.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
say
go ahead.
this
Go ahead.
as a possible kick in my own testes for the future. But it'd be really cool if we have to fight Wari as a massive undead zombie creature later on.
I don't want to do that.
That's a free. My assumption is you already thought of it, Josh. But that'd be a cool thing to happen.
You never know what's going to happen, fellas. The
He
night is
is
young.
a beef prince.
Basically, I mean, he is nothing but muscle, and like his entire body's a callus. So yeah.
I am the cows.
So he's just like a big toe.
Pretty much.
He's the
Yeah, he is.
father from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs in his younger days.
It's like an earthworm with a unibrow.
Yep, there you go. That is Wari right there.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
He is leading the charge, and he is slowly getting engulfed in a wave of Zombo over here.
Is he in the initiative? Is this his turn? Or
No,
you
I'm just kind of
give
letting
us
y'all
an
know
update?
what's going on at the end of the round. So
Okay.
all right, it is now Kai Lynn's turn. Keep what you got.
I've really got to stop wasting my spells on things that are about to die.
Yeah,
But-
it's kind of like you ain't never done this before.
C'est la vie. I want to.
Speak.
What's in between me and Hamu? Are those zombies still there in between us, or?
Yes, I'm gonna say that those zombos have actually kind of like shuffled off in a general Gwari direction. So
Okay.
he's basically doing a little bit of crowd control for you.
Okay, so I'm hoofing it. I want to meet up with Hamu up there.
Okay, Hamu it up.
Other than that, I don't think I want to. Yo.
Why you do me like that?
Oh, my bad, brother.
Don't grab that B and run.
I guess
baby.
my brain was like, I'm playing D&D. Surely the letter that starts my name wouldn't start my name.
You never know. What else you got?
Honestly, I really don't have. I don't have anything else. Well,
Okay.
hold up.
Wait a minute. What do you feed your dog? God,
Just regular dog food.
it smells like old onions.
So what is? I would like to know what's out in front of me and Hamu.
Okay, brief description as you're leaving kind of that edge of town. You're kind of getting into the outer skirts of it. There is not a whole lot. It kind of has like a little bit of a downhill slope, and it gets a little marshy towards the bottom. All the trees and such have been cleared away, but the river is pretty much a straight shot ahead, about 500 feet.
Gotcha.
I'd say marshy area right before it, a little bit of a difficult terrain, but there is what looks like a little bit of a rickety dock that kind of heads out towards the water, and you can see a very large, we'll say about a 50-foot long boat that's out there kind of docked at the end of it.
Okay, well, if there's nothing formidable between us and them, and then it looks like Bruce has a good lane to get to us as well, I'm gonna save my resources and just run up and meet up with Hamu.
Ah, but it looks safe as far as you know.
Well, sure. Another reason to save.
Okay, all right. So you're kind of heading that way. Got
Yep.
it. All right, Bruce.
I'm running.
He's running.
I'm gonna use me dash to catch up.
So Dash, you actually get some extra movement, right?
Yeah.
You'd actually be like up here.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I only have 25 feet of movement speed, so doubled is 50.
Okay, so you just pass them by just a squeeze.
Come on, guys.
Right behind you.
Hamu.
I will also use my dash to move forward. I mean, if we's running, we's running.
Okay.
You pass Bruce as he's kind of puking in the corner of this building.
All right, so I'm about to clear the screen in a second, but way off in the distance, you can kind of see like a jumble of what could be considered. Dang it, the buildings are moving again. Move, building, and then don't move. You can kind of see a jumble of what's going on as this big pile of zombies with the occasional big meaty arm sticking out of it and punching its way back into it, sort of like a trout flowing upstream. So, yeah, that's generally what's going on in Guari's situation. He's doing his best to do a little crowd control for you.
We appreciate him.
You do notice though that wad o zombie is starting to get a little bit dense over there. All right, number 4. Ghoul number 4 is going to actually kind of head this way towards Ghoul number 2. Ghoul number 2 is going to see if he can't climb back up out of that hole. He got a 16. I'm gonna say that actually this time he gets a little bit of a purchase on it. He kind of shambles up out of it, kind of flops over the other side. I'm gonna say he's kind of tumbled out of this thing, so he is prone for this moment, but he is out the hole.
Can I have a free action to just do like a little character thing?
Do it.
Can I drink like a bottle of my own ale? Like it doesn't have any effects or anything. It's just I want to show that he's hydrating with ale rather than any type of healthy liquid.
Do it. So is this like a flask? Do you have a small barrel keg? What you got?
I'm picturing like a regular like amber glass bottle of beer kind of deal. Like he just takes it out and uncorks it and chugs it down.
Nice. So like this is the initial Gatorade right there.
Yeah.
There you go. It's got all your electrolytes and beer, ale,
Green.
everything you really need.
Calories.
All the food groups.
Plenty of energy right there. All right, so number G dose is out the hole and is prone.
I moved the hole.
Move the hole.
I can do that actually.
You can. I love a druid. I love a druid. It's awesome. All right. And number 3, you can't see what number 3 is doing, but the screaming continues for a brief moment before cutting off abruptly.
Well, at least it didn't last but 6 seconds.
There you go. Not too long at all. All right, so I am now going to clear the board. Is that okay, gentlemen?
Cleared up.
All right, I'm going to slide y'all out the way. I'm going to grab all of these fine things here.
Thanks to anyone who's tuned in on our stream tonight. I know things are a little bit odd, I guess, the way we do things around here, but we got 4 boys in different places with different internet and computer possibilities, but hopefully we'll have webcams for everybody and a good setup for whenever we get back to season 2.
Right.
Because right now it's just looking at me picking my nose whenever I'm not speaking.
Well, I mean, you're doing a fine job.
Hale says no worries, but she's always nice like that, so don't let that compliment go to your head, boys.
Dang it, Hale, I wasn't worried until you told me not to be. Now I feel like I have a reason to.
Bryce be like that.
All right, so y'all are kind of. Dang it! The whole thing moved. Wait, I can undo. We can undo. We can make it undone.
Nice.
It is undid.
There we go. So I'm just gonna grab you fellas. Hamu has taken the lead.
You want me to control this?
Yeah.
Just tell me what to do.
Please do. Your
Okay.
mouse is a little laggy on.
No, it's just that part of the table. See, it's fine over here.
Oh, that's weird. Anyway, all right. So y'all are kind of hoofing it that way. We've got a river up ahead over here. I see that. Okay. So we got a river that's at the far end of your screen board on the map.
Which way is the river flowing?
We're gonna say the river's flowing right. It's just downstream.
Okay.
Downstream, brother. Dude, can you draw downstream?
River.
Boom. It's even got a little arrow on it. Okay?
Nice.
The last 30 feet of this is actually going to be difficult terrain. You got some marshy, muddy, mucky area right there at that interstitial area.
We still calling these 10 feet blocks?
Yeah, we'll call them 10 feet. Remember I said it's 500 feet to get there, so we'll kind of put it in perspective for you.
Okay.
And then we got a 50-foot little river barge out there. Ooh, look at that.
This is the muddy marshiness.
Right? Got some muddy, mucky, marshy.
Right,
I'm
that's
not
about-
drawing, so if it's amazing, that's all Bryce.
That's about 3 blocks out, I think.
There you go.
You got a barge where?
Got a barge that's right out here into the river. It's about 50 feet long.
So
Old barge-o.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's a beautiful barge. Majestic.
Isn't it?
It looks like a yellow caterpillar.
It is.
All right.
It indeed is.
And then just a rickety dock kind of extending out that way for you.
This is art.
Dang it.
This is like finger painting with a chimp.
Wow. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's just blocky shapes on this thing. We are going to be doing some upgrading hopefully. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
cool.
we got plans.
Dock. That'll work. This is a narrow rickety dock, but it'll do. Dock. Oh.
We got
All right.
plans for upgrades for show.
The baguette dock.
Just a little double baguette.
We're basically headed down to the river. You don't see a whole lot of enemies headed up your way at the moment, although you still have ghoul number 3 and ghoul number 2. Excuse me, ghoul number 4 and ghoul number 2 are still coming up behind you.
Okay.
All right. You have 470 feet of open ground to cross.
Are we still in combat?
Combat is out at the moment.
Oh, I'm sprinting that way. Come on, fellows, we must make it to the dock.
I'm also sprinting that way.
What's
So-
Bruce got?
I'm also going to do that. Is everybody else dashing as well?
Yes, sir.
Dashing and sprinting and everything else.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
Well, remember, this is 470 feet between here, so I just can't
Oh,
fit it on the thing. So, you know what? I'm going to say that y'all make it halfway there just for the sake of time, because y'all are just going to be sprinting and
Right.
rolling for sprinting and everything else. So, y'all make it halfway there before ghoul number 3 and ghoul number 4 actually figure out that y'all headed this direction. And they shows up behind you at the edge of town, maneuvering in your direction. So, they are a good, that's like 200 and some change feet behind you. So they're a good 200 and something feet behind you.
All right.
But they are beelining it your way. Continue to dash.
Yeah,
disengaging. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I haven't even seen that. I haven't turned around. I'm headed for the dock.
Yeah.
What
Gotcha.
what are we in? It's what is it? You said it's like a field?
Just open area. All the trees in this area have been cut back to build a town, build a village.
Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, just running.
All right, so running on down. All right, so y'all get another quarter way there. There you go. And ghoul number 3, ghoul number 4, they're going to move their speed. No, they're just actually going to move their regular 30 feet movement speed. So they're dashing, y'all aren't. So, or y'all are dashing, they're not. So, all right. Almost to the to that marshy edge line there. You got some taller reeds and papyrus grass, that kind of stuff growing up through there.
We're gonna stealth in the tall grass. Well, I'm still sprinting.
Yep.
Okay.
Still sprinting.
Everybody sprinting. Okay. Everybody sprints right up to the edge line of the thing. There is a little bit of a path kind of leading over towards that dock. Dock extends about 15 feet into the marshy, muddy, mucky area. There's been a lot of construction, things like that going through with these people pulling these logs up through there. So, all right, so you got about 15 feet of nastiness to get through. You got half speed on that.
Okay.
Marshes popping up on either side of you. The grass height is about 5 feet in all directions.
It's taller than me.
Oh Lord.
Same height as me. I'm gonna keep on running.
Keep it on running.
I'm the killer. I'm running. Yeah, I'm gonna run too. But while I'm doing that, I've got to use the bathroom, so it's up to your discretion if Hamu runs while pees while he's running or not.
It's a cobalt trait.
It's a cobalt treat. That's how they get this stuff.
It's kind of like
Alright,
the
so
time machine. You got to get up to a certain speed before they can pee.
DeLorean kind of thing. All right. They just have hamster wheels in their bathroom. That's all it is.
Keith, you keeping up with us?
Yeah, unless
so y'all
Josh
are at
stops me, I'm headed for the dock.
I was gonna say y'all reach the edge of that marshy area. You got about 15 feet till you get to the dock. That is difficult terrain in there. It's kind of muddy, slick, mucky, kind of all that goodness.
Let's say for a character building moment, I reach over towards Hamu, who is shorter than the rest of us, and say, "Come now, Bahamut would not want you to die in the muck," and grab his arm as we walk through the mud.
Nice. I like it. What's Bruce doing?
I'm like waist deep in mud right now. I'm following.
It's not that muddy unless you're just that short. So.
No, this isn't Bartholomew.
Oh God,
that was funny. He like the way I pictured it. We never made it official, but he was basically cursed with the fact that every time you look at him, you swear he's shorter than the last time you saw him.
Weren't you taller?
Mm.
All right, so everybody's kind of heading that way. As you are, I'm going to assume that Hamu's going with you. So
I am going with them.
Yep.
He's going. All right. He actually peed and created this whole like the river, everything, marshy area, everything.
Hamu's been holding it in for about 10 years.
Right. He's never peed before. All right. So y'all are actually heading your way through this marshy, mucky area. As you actually enter and get to the base of that bridge with your movement speed, you actually hear a bit of the rustling through the marshes.
Yeah,
at the base of the dock.
It goes under.
It does go underneath the dock, which is weird. We need layers or something.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to say you are at the base of the dock. It shows that you're actually floating in the river right now. These are the constraints that we have.
But we're on the dock. Got it.
On the dock, you hear a bunch of rustling and shimmering up in the shivering up in the reeds as two more zombos poke their head up on the downstream side of the dock and take notice of you good people. Nope, just zombies. No G's. No G, just Z.
That's what they call me at work.
These would
Z?
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
One of the managers, Greg, he's a fantastic dude. He's like 70 years old, and he used to be in the military. He started calling me ZZ for a little while, and I knew like the second time he did that, I was like, "There's gonna come a day in the next week or two, and he's gonna call me ZZ Top." And then literally the next day, he came up to me and he was like, "Hey ZZ Top, how's it going?" And I was like,
I sussed you out, old man.
He's a really cool guy.
How are these guys caught up anymore?
They just did their regular old 30. They're up here. They're getting there. They're just not getting there very quickly. So, you have reached the end of the dock. The dock extends 30 feet out into the water.
I would like... Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Finish up. Sorry.
All right. Dock extends about 30 feet in the water. There is a 50-foot, very rickety river barge, that is moored out at the end of the dock. And it seems to kind of be listing off towards one side. It's kind of leaning way over to the back.
I would like to make my way to the end of the dock.
We are at the end of the dock.
Oh, we're at the far end?
You're at the dirt end of the dock.
Okay. Then, yeah, I also want to do that.
I would like to go that way as well. But may I also roll perception?
I mean, if you gotta, I suppose.
I mean, I'd
Yeah,
like to.
I'm looking as well, ideally. But
So
I ain't seeing.
I'm sending a picture to the text group of just a general way that the barge looks.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just old river barge with some cargo goodness in there.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Right?
Even with the little fellas on it.
You never know. What do y'all get on that precept?
21.
21 might do it.
Like a 2 or a 4.
2 probably not going to do it. You roll anything?
I didn't roll anything. I'm running.
Running.
I'm just running.
Just running. All right. So what Hamu actually sees is there are a couple of shapes on the barge moving around, but they're just kind of like they
My
don't look
bad.
like they don't look like a living thing moving around. They look like something rolling around.
Oh.
Cool. I don't see that.
You don't see that.
I'm running towards that barge.
Run toward
Yeah,
that barge.
I'm getting on either way, whatever we see.
All right, so y'all are kind of you got 30 feet of movement speed. You got 25 feet of movement speed, so you get almost to the end of the dock. Keith, you get to the end of the dock with Lynn. Hamu, what's Hamu doing?
I want to. I've got 40 feet of movement speed, right?
Right.
Can I run and jump off of the dock and make it to one of these creatures to like tackle them?
Or you're going back into the marsh?
No,
Or
no,
you're
no.
going to the barge?
To the barge.
Sure.
Okay, I want to do that.
All right. So movement speed, you said you got 40, and then you're making a jump to tackle.
Yeah. Well, like I like drop kick basically with no element at all. I just want to jump up there and kick one.
Okay. Just roll up your basic old melee attack. Let's see if you actually kind of can land this.
That's 23.
23 is going to do it, and then mix that up and give me an athletics check to see if you can stick the dismount.
Okay. That's a 3.
That's a 3. Okay. All right. So with a running start, you launch yourself off the end of the dock straight over into the barge-like area. Y'all seen that scene on 300 where the dude is just like jumping straight at this guy with a sword? It's all slow motion for like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's that scene going on. So
Nice.
you're soaring through the night. You have time to think about life and everything in it. As you land on this rolling shape in the barge, you actually hit pretty hard. You do a little bit of damage to it. You want to roll me some damage?
I rolled 10 damage.
10 damage. Okay. You roll 10 damage on the thing which you have impacted, which turns out to be a very large, heavy barrel.
Excellent.
So there's some barrels rolling around in the bottom of this thing. You have just attacked one of them.
Sure.
It gets a little bit scuffed up, and it's a little bit upset with you. But beyond that, it is still a barrel.
Excellent. Hamu lays where he falls.
There you go. You didn't stick the dismount on that one, so you hit it, and being a barrel, it is round on the bottom that it's laying on, so it just kind of rolls over with you, and you just flop over to the floor of the boat. So
Excellent.
when you flop over to the floor of the boat, you actually can feel like a little bit of like the boat is actually on something, like that thud at the bottom of the boat when it hits something. Yeah, so it's almost like the boat is just grounded right here. It ain't moving too far.
Hey.
Go ahead. You go ahead, Bryce.
Hey, did we get the name of the dude that we're supposed to be meeting, or did you just say
Orson.
Yeah, Orson.
Orson.
Oh, Orson, you out here anywhere?
Yes, Orson, are you here somewhere?
May roll a perception for me.
A chance to rectify my 3 with a critical 1.
I actually rolled a 14. I just bumped it, and it looked like I rolled a 20.
A critical 1 and a 14.
14 plus 6, I believe, so it is technically a 20.
Okay, so your failure on that one, Keith. That's what I was saying. A nat 20 is going to get you a little extra, and a crit fail is going to get you a little bit less. You actually like a bug flies by and it like lands in your eye. So instead of actually not seeing, you got like a little little creature there in your eye, you take 1 point of damage.
Owie.
Yeah, it was a big old ginormous mosquito, and it's like it busted in there, and it's all juicy, and it's nasty.
Why did our last mission have to be in the swamp?
Bryce, what did you actually roll on yours?
A 20.
A 20.
Not natural.
You don't hear any Orson. You don't see any Orson, but there is like a nasty odor. It's just like,
Would you describe it as Orson-like?
I don't know. It is definitely not Orson-like. This does not smell like any cousin of any orc anywhere that you've ever sniffed.
Gotcha.
Unless you have, in which case, when you talk about that. So there you go. So Hamu is on the boat. Y'all are at the end of the dock, gazing upon it in wonder. The barge itself is you can see that the front of the boat is actually what is moored to the end of the dock. The barge is back, like the stern side of it is actually way down into the water. All those barrels are just kind of like free ranging on there. They haven't been lassoed down or lashed to anything. Everything has rolled to the back, and it's just kind of sitting there, stuck in the muck and the sand at the bottom.
Do y'all mind if I move this down so we can see everything?
Please do.
Move it down. Josh, while the bug is in my eye, I'd like to say to Bruce, I don't care whether Orson is on that boat or not. Hop on there. I'll untie it. As I look around for a rope to untie this boat from the dock.
Yeah, I don't see him anywhere. Come on, let's go. Whose turn? Are we doing turns right now, or?
Not at the moment, but I will say, you know what? Let's go ahead and roll an initiative because Zombos and the ghouls have now noticed exactly where you are, and they're headed that way. Nope. Zombies do not take the bridge. They go straight across the marsh.
Nice.
Yep. So they're going to get some difficult times ahead of them. Their speed is only 20, so they take half that. They're 10, so they're just kind of shuffling around and kind of wading through all this crap. So the ghouls are actually headed towards the end of the dock. So
are they in the marsh and stuff yet, or
they've made it out to this kind of a rough area right as you're entering that marshy, goopy area before you hit the dock. So all right,
that's gonna be impossible to get out of there.
Yeah, we might need to redo those, but it'll be okay. All right, so Hamu is on El Barjo. Bruce is.
You said we need to roll initiative?
Yep.
Okay. 19.
19. And have you hopped aboard?
I would like to, yes.
Okay. What's Hamu got for initiative?
21.
Woo! All right, Keith, what you got?
Pulled off an unnatural 20 this time.
Unnaturally. Dang. Okay. Let me roll up a couple of zombos. Yeah, initiative kind of takes a hot minute.
Mm-hmm. Come
And
down to the river. Won't you let yourself in?
So
Got to re-roll that one.
did I hop on the boat before the initiative?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, like, location-wise. Keith, you're actually untying from the mooring?
My goal, I'm looking around for a rope before, I'll tell you my plan. I'm looking around for a rope. I want to ensure that I know where that is and to figure out whether I can cut it from the dock or whether I'm going to have to, or I can cut it from the barge, but I'm going to use my sword to cut the rope.
There you go. So at the end of the dock, there's actually a loop of rope that is lashed around one of the end posts there, and it is 50 feet of quality hempen rope.
Okay. I guess whenever initiative starts, I'm gonna hack away at that rope.
There you go.
I got some rope. I got some quality rope. Perfect for a man who's devoid of hope like you are.
Mm-hmm.
Michael is Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm, yeah.
My phone. It's
All right.
it's dying.
Plug that thing in, man.
You definitely have a USB port in front of you.
Definitely.
You are on a computer.
Definitely.
But it's an
All right.
iPhone.
We done rolled it up. Keith, actually, the other day, the Anchor wireless chargers were on sale. I got 2 of them for $18, and those things
Nice.
look awesome. This
Nice.
podcast brought to you by Anchor. But not actually.
But not really. Don't yet. Just in case. We always have to say not a sponsor.
Right. Brought to you by these people, but not really. All right, so zombie number 2 actually rolled a nat 20, so he is going to slog his way and kind of, that whole sucking mud kind of situation a little bit closer toward your general bargeward direction. Only got 10 feet though. Yep, zombie number 2. All right, it is now Hamu's move. What is the Hamu gonna do?
So you said I feel that the boat is kind of stuck, right?
Yeah, like if you get into a boat on the water, like you get in it and it'll kind of like move around on you. This ain't moving.
I tell Bruce, I say, we should probably throw these barrels into the water. I think they are weighing down the boat.
All right, I'm down if you are. If you see any of the Bruce Good Ale, try and toss them towards the bank rather than just letting them float on down the river.
Sounds good.
Actually, hell, we're going downriver. Toss them in there. See them on the way back.
Let's chase them down. I like it. All right.
And then
so what we got going on action wise? Go it. Do it.
I want to take a barrel and well, I want to find a barrel, if possible, that contains oil. Is this a kind of boat that would contain oil bearing barrels?
This is a general trading boat, so it has a little bit of everything. But back in ye olden day, barrel was your standard way of shipping anything. So some barrels might have anything in it. Some barrels might have everything in it. You don't know.
Well, I'm gonna take a barrel and I'm gonna chunk it over toward the zombies.
I mean, you gonna try to?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna try to.
Roll a strength check, because these are not little barrels. These are like shipping barrels. These are the big beefy boys.
That is an 11.
That is an 11. I'm afraid you get it tipped up on the end, but not much more than that. Just can't heft that thing up.
That is all I'm going to do.
Okay? All right. Keith, what Colin got?
Colin would like to hop onto the... So I've identified the rope attached to the dock, yes?
Yes, indeed.
And have I identified where the rope is attached to the barge?
It's just kind of tied off towards one of the sides on the front.
Okay. I'd like to hop onto the barge and then hack that rope.
All right, so you're hopping onto the barge. It's only a couple feet from the dock, so not a big thing there. And you're going to hack at the rope.
I'm going to try to chop that rope in half.
All right, see if you can just give me a melee hit on the rope. Is it a clean cut?
Okay, it's a...
You got a little sword, right? A dagger?
Yep, it is an 11. I have a long sword, actually.
Okay, it's not necessarily a clean cut, but it gets the job done.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so you have cut that thing loose. The back end of the barge is still kind of stuck in the mud, but being that its nose is pointed upriver a little bit, the nose actually kind of swings out and starts kind of moving out into the middle of the river, just a little bit, kind of moving pretty slow.
My friends, it seems as though we are stuck on something.
Yeah, I might have something for that.
I await your solution.
It is now the Bruce move, unless you got something else, Keith.
I do not. I will now move myself to the barrage. Boop.
Okay.
Cool. Again, the only spell I've cast other than Shillelagh and Mage Armor. Mold Earth.
Yeah, I was wanting to suggest that.
If the dirt or stone you target is on the ground, you can cause it to become difficult terrain. Alternatively, you can cause the ground to become normal terrain if it is already difficult.
Okay.
Would you consider the barge to be stuck on difficult terrain? Can I normalize it?
I would say that it is grounded on the bottom. So yeah.
Okay. Can I try and like solidify what's underneath us so it's less sucking mud and more like hard packed stuff we can kind of slide off of a little bit more?
You can try, but basically the back end of the boat is like just sticking down into the thing. So,
all right, guys, I'm gonna try something, but I think more than anything, we're gonna need to move some weight to the front of the boat. I'm gonna try and dig out from underneath us. So I want to dig some of it out with my action,
okay.
and I can't move stuff with a bonus action. Or can I interact with an object?
Maybe if it's just something very simple.
Yeah, okay. I can't make a strength check as an action.
Okay.
Or as a bonus action.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll just use my action to mold earth. I'm gonna just kind of try and move the dirt out from underneath the back end and get some water in there to get some buoyancy.
Okay. Smart move. I like it. I like it. All right. So you got to move the earth. Where are you moving it to? This is the mud that's up underneath everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess just moving it, like, starting from like do I sense the earth? Can I feel where it first starts making contact with the bottom of the boat?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say yeah.
Okay.
Total earth bending style here. Yeah, you got this.
I'm moving wherever it first makes contact with the boat, as far forward as it makes contact. I'm gonna just kind of move it out to the sides,
Part the river kind of style.
like no, like move it to one side, move it to like the bank. Like I'm trying to like build up space between us and the bank, kind of pushing us inwards.
Okay. All right. So building up toward the bank, you're just taking five cubic feet of mud underneath the stern end of this thing and just kind of shoving it over there, right?
Yeah.
All right, so a little bit more backwards. So a bunch of burbling and bubbling happens, and then all of a sudden the water underneath the boat gets all murky and kind of that old nasty coffee look. And then all this mud just kind of out from underneath everything. The back end of the boat actually sinks just a little bit deeper, and the edge of the stern is sitting right on the waterline now. So,
is it working, Bruce?
Yeah, I think so. Come on, help shift some of the weight towards the front. I'll just walk up there, and that should help a little.
All right. Anything else on your move?
I'll walk towards the front of the boat.
Okay, movement speed, that'll do. So it's about 50 feet. You didn't really go to the back of the boat. I'm gonna say you made it to the front. You're up there by Colin now. So
Wait, that's the front?
that's the back. That's the front. So Keith's up at the front. Now you up at the front. Look at that.
So this is what's stuck.
Yeah. So basically, it's got the butt end of it just kind of like weighed down, stuck in the mud. It's kind of loosened a little bit, but because the mud was out of there now, it's sunk down a little bit, but it's got a little bit more movement going. Okay. So, all right. It is now Ghoul number 1, who is actually, or excuse me, number 3, who is going to make his movement towards the end of the dock. He's almost going to get there too. And same thing for Ghoul number 2. Zombie number 1 is going to see all this action going on and is very interested in what's going on. And he is actually beating the path straight towards the barge where you're at an impressive 10 feet. That's about all he's got. He's a zombie. You can't expect much from this guy. So he is coming up towards the side of the barge right over here. Bryce, can you grab that for me?
Oh, yeah.
Bryce controls our world today. There you go. That's him. These fellas over here have just kind of made it almost to the end of the dock. Almost. Shwip. All right. Kudos to all app. That actually worked pretty good.
Nice.
All right. So it is now Zombie number 2's turn. He's going to take another 10 feet of movement and get finally out towards what used to be the water's edge, but is now even more of that nasty, sucking, putrid mud that just pulled up from the bottom of the river.
It's extra sucky.
Right. So this guy is like navel deep in just nasty, nasty mud.
Good luck getting on that barge, zombie.
I mean, he's making an effort of it. I mean, he's trying. So
I think I have a better idea of what to do with mold earth this next time. So
you're gonna keep on rolling that thing.
yeah,
All right,
I
but
think this will actually work.
on this move, we have Hamu. What you got for us, Hamu?
I'm gonna go take an action because I can see that the ghouls are like moving forward, right?
Indeed, you can, good sir.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take an action to go over there and tell them to not do that by by using Breath of the Dragon. I'm going to use the 30-foot line, 5 feet wide variety, damage type fire. I'm gonna like get to the front of the barge, and I want to just like shoot that out across the top of the thing. My goal is to light the dock on fire, but also to try and hit the two ghouls.
All right, go for it. So
Solid.
let's see. Is
they
this
need
just
to
an
make-
automatic? We do this, or
Yeah, they need to make a dexterity saving throw.
that's what I'm. All right, so these guys are not super dexterous. What I gotta beat? Oh God.
You gotta beat where is it? 13.
Well, one of them got a 2, and the other one got 10 times that much.
Okay.
So one of them complete whiff on that one, almost a complete whiff. The other one was a nat 20 straight up though. So he sees what's going on, he sees it coming, and just in a rare blink of insight, decides to kind of lunge himself towards the bow of the barge, and actually manages to grab hold of just that front edge of the bow.
Okay. So the one who failed is going to take 12 damage, and the one who succeeded is going to take half of that.
Okay. So
There is no escaping the wrath of Hamu. At
he
least
take
not
a 6 and he take a 12. Okay.
Do I do a set of the dock on fire?
You know what? The dock is not going to dodge anywhere, so yeah, it catches and it kind of starts to smolder a little bit as little flames start to kind of pop up here and there upon its surface.
Heck yes.
Yes.
And
Dirty.
that's all I'm gonna do for now.
That's what you got. Okay. Kyle Lynn is going to be leading the way with something. What you got?
Okay.
Everybody's up at the front of the thing now, along with one ghoul who is hanging on.
Hamu, do you have this ghoul handled?
Yes, I can take him.
I want to grab whatever's left of that rope on the bow where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
How much length of rope would you say that is? I'm holding on to.
Initially, I said it was 50 feet. You cut off the last 10 feet of it when you got on board.
Okay, so I've got 40 feet of rope in my I have access to 40 feet of rope, or I have access to the 10.
You got access to 40 feet.
Okay. So I say, Bruce, do you think if we tied off one or two of the barrels and dropped them in the water, the force of the river would help pull us off of this dirt we're stuck in?
I think so. I got an idea. Can you just get ready to lash down a barrel whenever they come up to the front?
Yes.
All
Alright, so I guess I'm preparing to grab a barrel and wrap it in rope and tip it over the side whenever they come to the front. Is that the communication, Bryce?
No, just like tying it down. Like tie the rope to something, and when the barrel gets up to you, tie the barrel into the rope so that it's secured to the front. We're trying to weigh down the front so the back end will lift up.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, I'm wondering if I feel like I probably need to roll something to figure out if that's working. Us being at the front. But yeah, I'll prepare myself to do that then. That will be my. I'll prepare to tie off a barrel when it comes this way, Josh.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna say you got 10 barrels in this bad boy. These are kind of large barrels. Each of y'all could easily fit inside all of these. Your weight is I mean, it's kind of shaking the barge around a little bit, but your weight being on the front is not enough to counteract those other 10 barrels that are kind of slid to the back.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So, I guess we kind of consider that a ready to action.
Yeah.
Bruce, do the thing.
All right. I use mold earth to push a 5 cubic foot thing of mud straight up underneath the bottom of the back end of the barge, and just kind of lift the back up so the barrels will roll forward.
Okay. All right. We kind of moved some of the mud out of the way, so I'm gonna give you 3 feet up instead of 5 feet.
Okay.
Because you kind of had to push some of the way. So it would have been 5 earlier, but it went down a little bit, so now it's going back up 3. So you lost 2, but you gained 3.
Okay.
So between the last move and this move, so
All right.
the back has actually come up a bit out of the water, and a couple of those barrels are kind of shifted and steadied a little bit, and are starting to kind of want to tip forward, like they're going to lean forward towards the front of the boat a little.
All right.
Definitely doesn't seem like an uphill battle anymore.
Okay. As a bonus action, can I just kind of give them a shove, or would that take a strength check?
You could maybe give one of them a shove, but I don't think you're gonna get all 10.
Oh yeah, just
Okay.
all right. So, or I guess it'd be interaction with a object. I just want to kind of
Just kind of bump it.
give it the push over the edge, not over the edge of the boat, but over the edge of its inertia to start rolling towards the front.
Okay. I mean, it's a simple thing. I can see just giving it a nudge. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Give me a strength.
I thought it was like a free. Okay, 2.
2. Okay. You kind of give it a little bump, but you thought it might have had a little bit more juice going on to it. It actually rolls forward about a foot, and it kind of stops, and just barely starts rolling back towards you. It's just like the fulcrum. It's on the teetering point.
Gotcha.
So, all right. So we got this going on. The boat is now beginning to right itself. The ghoul that has hung off the front of the barge actually would make like a really awesome like front piece for a ship, but this is a barge, so
maybe we had some rope to tie it to the front.
if only. But he's going to try to make a strength check to see if he can climb over that thing. It's a 12. This thing is up in the air, it's slicking everything. Not going to make that happen. So, all right. So he is hanging on, arm scrambling up over the side towards you fellas, but it ain't quite got a purchase on it. So, all right. The number dos on your screen, it'd be ghoul number 3. I just put 1 and 2 on here. I need to renumber those. So there we go. All right, so number 3, which is right there on the dock, took all that full blast from Hamu last time. He is feeling the burn for sure, and he is going to shuffle off towards the end of the dock and see if he can get a good leap onto the front of the barge. And he do not do it. He is going to land right in that soupy, nasty, muddy water right there at the front of the barge. Okay, yeah, that's about it for him. I like the sound effect. The sound effect is nice.
Squelch.
All right, so Zombie 1, he's seeing the buffet line is getting a little bit active. He wants to get his, so he's going to try to get up in there. Another 10 feet towards the barge. All right, same thing for old Zombo number 2. He's actually getting pretty close. He is not quite there yet, but if he just stretched it, the end of his fingers could touch the side of the barge. So, all right. So actually, off in the distance, you actually hear a rumbling sort of noise as a wave of zombies that Guari was pushing back earlier has now just rolled out into the clearing, and it's actually rolling. Like this is an actual definable shape. And you hear Guari every now and then just as he kind of rolls through this whole thing. Arm pops out here, a leg pops out there, and occasionally you see is kind of a lumpy head sticking out. But the entire horde is kind of shambling in the direction of the water's edge. So it's I'm gonna say for scale size, it's about a good 50-60 zombies strong right now. Just a wad of zombies.
Oh boy.
Yep. All right. It is now Hamu's move.
Does anybody remember how many times I've used that breath weapon?
I think it was twice because you used it once yesterday or once last time.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna use it again.
Do it.
And I'm gonna use it on the 2 ghouls.
Mhm.
This time it's gonna be lightning damage though.
Sweet. So one is like hanging. He's got like one arm over the bow of the boat, bow of the barge. The other one is just landed in the water up underneath him. He's not a very good swimmer, but his bloated body kind of floats a little bit. So he's hanging in there, but not well.
Okay. They must make the dexterities.
Yeah, neither one of them is really going to do great on a dexterity. I'm going to give them disadvantage on this. That's a crit fail on one. And a 8 on the other one.
Okay.
The one in the water crit fail, the one hanging off.
They both fail.
Both
And they
fail.
take, right, because you said the highest was like a 7?
8.
8. Okay, yeah. So they take 7 lightning damage apiece.
7 damage apiece. All right.
Yeah, let's see.
The one down in the water, number 3, is actually there's some smoke rising up off of this fella. So he is not doing well at all. You can see that he is he's just kind of barely hanging in there. He is more floating than actually just trying to actively get to you now. So the other one is actually still hanging on miraculously. Kind of looking a little bit pissed and a little bit motivated, like, hey, I need to get up here to the lunch line before things get serious. But he's still hanging in there.
I've been doing this wrong.
What you got?
I can this doesn't take an action. This takes one of my attacks in the extra attack feature.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm gonna punch that ghoul that's hanging onto the side of the thing. You know, I'm gonna punch him twice for good measure because I'm gonna punch him with bonus action. Like, what the heck? And people are within 5 feet of me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Bruce has moved back a little bit. He's about midships. And Kyle Lynn is up there with you.
All right, well, that's a nat 20.
I guess that'll work.
Okay, nat 20 and 21.
Yeah, you're gonna do it.
So I'm gonna do fire damage.
Give me some damage here. This is the one hanging off the front, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
12 damage for the first one and
Yeah.
9 damage for the second one.
Yeah. How you want this boy going out?
I wanna punch him so hard his arm falls off and he falls into the water.
All right. So with a scorching, blazing hot fire fist, you come up over the bow of this thing and just punch this fellow straight up into his head, and then another one straight to the neck, right there as the collarbone meets the body, and his arm just rips off and kind of smolders a little bit as the rest of his body falls over.
4-3.
4-3. What? Oh, that's number 4. Yeah, 4. Ghoul number 4 on the map, if anybody's following at home, is now dead and starting to float downstream a little bit. His arm just behind him as it's floating away.
Man, I tell you, this class, this specific subclass is very cool. I enjoy this one a lot.
Nice.
Built for combat, built for murder.
All right, what's Colin got?
So do we feel like we've crossed the threshold of our barge is about to be moving or no?
Oh yeah, we're like teetering on the edge. We're at the fulcrum is where those barrels are at. So
Okay. So Bruce, do you need some help pushing the barrels?
Yeah. I'm gonna do that again and lift us up a little bit higher on the backside. That should get most of them, but go ahead and get as many as you can tied down.
Okay. I guess I'd like to tie down some barrels
okay,
to the front of this boat.
tying them down to the front. Got it. All right. So you just readying that up?
I think he's like
Whatever ones are down there, if there are some down there.
none shifted yet.
None,
Okay.
none have shifted yet.
You'd have to shift one.
Gotcha.
But you can grab one and kind of shove it up there. It's like just a little nudge will get it there.
Sure, then yes, I'd like to do that, please.
Okay. Roll just a straight up strength check for me.
Well, that's not my strong suit, no pun intended.
You don't need a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot.
Oh, well. Let me
I moved
tell
it a
you.
foot with a 2.
Yeah.
Well, what can I do with a 15?
With the 15, you plant one one dragony foot on this thing and just give it a little shove up to the front, and it gets a good roll to it and rolls right up to the front of this bad boy. And in fact, there's one behind it starts shifting a little bit your way also.
Nice.
We have started to go over that middle point, fellas. The avalanche is upon us if you push too much.
Splendid.
There you go. All right, so you got one barrel up front. Are you gonna tie it off? What you doing?
I'd like to, I guess, lash it down if I could, and prepare to do that for something else.
Okay.
But I'm suspicious as a character that once these things start moving, we won't need any rope. We'll just start floating.
Who can say for sure?
Who knows?
All right. So I'm just gonna say you're just gonna spend some time just kind of getting that thing in position. Then.
Yeah. That'll work.
Okay. All right. It is now Bruce's turn.
Mold earth lifted higher.
Mold earth lifted higher. All right. Another. Yeah, you get the full 5 feet on this one. So.
Hang on. Let me check mold earth. See how far I can move dirt.
It's just straight up 5 feet.
No, how far I can move it.
Oh. I think that's about it. I mean, it don't go very far. It's just kind of like digging a hole. You can shift it this way or that way, or
deposit it up to 5 feet away.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna lift it up.
Okay.
Until it starts tipping barrels forward. I mean, I'm not trying to ground us above the water or anything like that.
That's what I was wondering. Okay. So basically, like an instant ant hill forming underneath the water. This kind of a bulge of mud kind of comes up and just kind of starts growing and growing and starts tipping the back of the boat up. You get about halfway there before things kind of meet that requirement to start rolling all the barrels forward. So you want to cut it off there?
Yeah.
All right. So Keith, you got barrels headed for you.
Okay.
Give me a dex check. See if you can get out the way.
All right. Dex check. So a saving throw, I assume.
Yeah, that'll work.
A 12.
12. Yeah, you're gonna make it. So you got these barrels headed your way, but you notice them. You're able to kind of squeeze out of the way in time. So you got this.
Donkey Kong style.
Donkey Kong style.
Donkey Kong.
So we got that happening. Everything is kind of shifted over towards the front end. Ghoul number 4 is out of the picture. But ghoul number 3 down in the water kind of flails towards the barge a little bit and trying to make it that way as the front end of the barge kind of starts to right itself and tip more towards the water. The barrels have actually overshot a little bit and the front of the barge is kind of dipping down a little more. And ghoul number 3 gets a little clawy hand up on the side of this thing. He's going to see if he can make a strength check to get up there. And you know what? He's actually going to do it.
Nice.
Got a 19 on that strength check. So, yeah. So he got an arm up on this thing, and he is actually flopped over into the bow of the boat. And I'm going to consider he's coming up out of the water and everything. This is a difficult kind of a situation. I'm going to say that that is going to be his action on this one.
Looks like we've got company.
I will handle this one as I handle the rest.
I'll stay out of your way.
Maybe not handle it like that other one where you set all that wooden stuff on fire.
I turn back and give a smirk to Bruce.
God, that's a creepy little thing.
a toothy, dragony kobold smile.
As you turn back and you give that little smirk, the little smoldering flames have actually ignited into more of an inferno as it hits some of that pine pitch that has been coating the dock a little bit, and everything just kind of whoosh, kind of goes up into a bonfire behind you.
I mean, really, he's like a muskrat wearing like crocodile skin or something.
But he is effective at killing, at least.
Yeah. I suppose he must be one of them savants.
Savant muskrat. All right, Hamu got any come back there?
Oh no, Hamu just turns around and focuses. In my mind, he can't hear what's going on.
Okay, love it.
He is not concerned with it.
Well, you might not be concerned with that, but zombie number 2 and zombie number 1 have reached the edge of the barge and are kind of trying to very mindlessly kind of like scramble their way up the side. They're just reaching over this thing, but they don't get it. Climbing is not their thing. So zombie number one, yeah, he kind of gets like from his shoulders up, kind of over the edge of the boat, but he is stuck down in that nasty mud. I mean, it's not coming out. So, but he is hanging on. Zombie number two, same thing, same exact roll. Wow. Okay, so he's about the same thing, just kind of reaching up over the side, but still stuck in that mud down there. So, and then the zombie wad actually gets a bit closer, and you can actually see like this is actually moving a little bit. Like you can tell there's definite like controlled movement as bits of this horde of zombies is actually beginning to get taller. You can see the definite shape of two legs, two arms, and a very, very zombie-filled torso. As this amalgamation of zombies has come together to create a corpse gatherer.
Oh.
Look, this is D&D, fellas. These are the things we sign up for. So right now, you got about a 40-foot pile of monstrosity made of zombie up ahead of you. Kind of starting to notice that, hey, there's some dinner out there. So it's definitely kind of a humanoid shape. No obvious like eyes or mouth or anything like that, but just a golem made of zombies. There you go. I did not actually make this creature up. This is actually a creature from 3rd edition that has not seen the light of day in a long while. There you be.
I'll tell you, boys, I've got nothing for that.
How about running real quick, like?
Like with our boat?
Yeah. We're kind of pointed the wrong way, so maybe somebody stick their hand down in there and get us paddling in one direction or another.
Swish, swish around a little bit. with Bruce saying that, somebody roll me up a perception check.
I do it. That's a nat 20.
A nat 20. Hamu, with Bruce saying this, in the blaze, which is just kind of like lit up behind you, you can see a little bit better into the interior of this boat. And you notice that there actually are 2 oars, long wooden oars that are down in the bottom of this thing. Or, excuse me, not oars. They're the poling sticks where you just pull the barge through the water. So there's 2 poling sticks down in the bottom of this thing.
Ooh.
There are sticks here that could be of use to us.
I see.
You punch that thing, we'll handle the sticks.
Oh, I can do that quite well.
Hamu, it's your move.
I'm gonna punch him.
Punch him. You gonna punch Bruce?
Yeah, I'll punch Bruce. Why not? Hamu's evil, everybody. Who knew? No, I'm gonna go punch ghoul number 3. I'm gonna punch at him a few times.
Okay, just to make sure.
Let's see how many times I punch at him. I'll go ahead and take my 1-2 punch at him first.
All right.
With 25
yeah.
and 24.
I got the Bluetooth headphones so I can hear everything. I gotta go pee real quick. If it gets to my turn, I'm just gonna grab one of those things and try and turn us into the river.
Okay.
So, all right. So you got a 25 on the first one, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you want us to keep going? Because that's going to do it.
Well, I mean, I only got 13 damage.
I mean, only, but I mean, he's only got like 2 health. So
okay. Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you want to kill him? I mean,
all the times. It's gonna be cold damage. So however you weave that into his death.
Cold damage. Well, this sopping wet zombie, which has previously been electrocuted and lit on fire, is now flopped over on the deck of this barge up at the front. And you have now just come up to him and straight up punched him in his ghoulish head. And he starts to kind of ice over a little bit and freeze up as he just falls back towards the deck that he was trying to scramble up off of to get to you. and shatters into about 4 or 5 different little ghouly pieces.
Nice.
Right, and it don't smell good. I'm just saying, it do not smell good.
No surprise there.
And you said Zombie 1 and 2, they didn't make it up quite yet. They're still down at the bottom.
Zombie 1 and 2 are still, like, their lower portions are still stuck in that nasty, sticky mud down there. And that Bruce previously started pushing over towards that side of the boat.
Gotcha.
Ghoul number 3 is dead and in little pieces. So. And then anything else on your action?
Well, I'm just gonna. I guess. I don't know. I guess I'll grab a pole.
Grab that pole. Right.
But I've already used my action, so I don't think I'll be able to do anything with it at this point.
Okay, I can say that you grabbed it. You picked it up.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So with the zombies kind of starting to kind of beat on the side of the barge a little bit, the front of the barge is actually kind of starting to swing out a little bit more towards the current and kind of getting more towards the middle of the river. Not a whole bunch, but it's moved a couple of feet. All right. It is now Colin's turn.
I got no rotate feature.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I'm trying to illustrate it through my mind powers.
I step down, grab a stick, and then I want to move over to the left of Zombie 1 there, all the way to the front of the barge, and jam that stick into the ground and start trying to push the point of our boat into the river to get caught by the current.
There you go. So you moved right past him?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be standing on the edge, hopefully out of his reach, and then pushing that stick into the mud.
Okay. I mean, it's a 50-foot boat. It's got a lot of sides, so
yeah.
Good. All right. So we got that happening. Give me just a strength check.
Okay. Uh-oh. Only a 5.
We're like 10 feet wide.
Okay. You get it a little bit stuck in the mud as you kind of start to pull it back, but the boat does kind of move back a couple of feet out towards the bow of the boat towards the current a little bit. So it's starting to catch, but the pole has become a little bit stuck and you can't quite get it back out all the way.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you got for me?
I believe that's all I can do.
Okay. Bruce.
Can I help him?
Sure.
I do that.
So use your movement speed to get up to him, and then.
Yeah.
Right.
Keith, do you have any strength at all?
I got a +1.
Okay, my modifier is 0, so I'm gonna help you, and I guess you just get a what's it called? Advantage. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, I'll roll again.
Also, recall you got a.
You got 1 inspiration earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Forgot about that.
Yep.
I won't need it, hopefully. I rolled a 19.
A 19? The stick breaks in half and then starts smacking you upside the head. No, you got it. You got it. It's all good. You haul that thing back out of there. There's a bunch of like mud and nasty stankness up on the end of that thing.
Nice.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Thank you for the help, Bruce.
Anytime.
All right. Now that you've actually pulled that thing out a little bit, the front is kind of stabilizing a bit, and it's kind of, you can't see it because it doesn't have a rotate on here, but we're going to say it's about 45 degrees pointed out into the middle of the river here. That work for you?
Show.
That worked for you. So being that it's kind of moved out of range a little bit, Zombie 1 and Zombie Dose, they're still stuck in the mud. They're just kind of flailing in your general direction, but they can't quite get out any farther.
That ghostly barge shape is us turning slightly into the river.
Got it.
There you go. All right. Bruce, anything else?
Nope. I believe that's my action. That's about all I can do.
Okay. Zombie 1, Zombie 2 are going to continue to flail. They actually make a little bit of headway as they kind of start to submerge a bit into the water, kind of headed in your general direction. So, and the big old corpse gatherer Zombie Wad has actually taken notice that you're out in the river. Its collective intelligence tells it that maybe that's not such a great idea. It actually approaches the edge of that marshy, nasty, mucky area.
So he's all the way up here.
Yeah, he's kind of made it up to the edge of the marsh line over this way. Yeah, that's it. So he's not coming out towards the dock. He's headed beeline straight for where y'all are at.
How about the horde? Is it following him?
He is the horde.
Oh,
he is the horde. I will say that there are some stragglers kind of following behind, and they kind of keep adding to the zombie collective. So he kind of collects more zombies as he goes. Therefore, corpse collector. So there you go.
I don't love him.
Right. The original actually was basically like a shambling mound, but it was basically a graveyard instead. So it's like a graveyard that has come to life.
Great.
So the original had like tombstones and caskets and all kind of fun stuff that's all rolled in there. But this is just a zombie wad with a really, really heavily calloused, very large dwarf somewhere in its juicy center.
You guys fought a big mech suit made of dead bodies in my original first ever campaign at the end. Now that I think about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're bringing it right back, full circle.
We loved him. We love an amalgamation.
Undead Randy Savage in my campaign.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yes. I could work with some more of that. So.
You guys fought a centaur that was more like an ogre on an elephant's body in my campaign.
That's true. That was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, Zenos, you weren't in that one.
I weren't.
Do it again.
Well, the one shot continues, so
True.
we could always do it again.
Does this one continue? Find out next week.
Hopefully. Let's go.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah,
all right, so I'm going to say Zombie 1 and Zombie 2, they are out of your line of sight. They have actually submerged up underneath the water, but they're still headed in your general bargeward direction. Big old Zombo Wad is actually still on the bank. He has been heading in your general direction, but is now reached the edge of that marshy area over there. So y'all are continuing to kind of drift out into the current a little bit, but as the dwarven foreman for the mine told you previously, it's about 2 miles downstream. So, what do you do? I'm gonna say that we're just in a collective pause between combat.
Okay. How do we make this boat float as fast as possible?
I just want to get moving at all right now, and then we can start chucking barrels off the side, and that should speed us up. We got 2 miles to go, so we can toss off barrels when we don't have zombies climbing up our collective rear ends.
Why not toss a barrel now? I'm not sure what else we can do.
Because I'm trying to get it unstuck from the bank. If you want to toss a barrel, you can go toss a barrel. I can't do more than one thing at a time. My arms ain't that long.
Right, I'll toss barrels then.
I think...
What'd you say, Keith?
I said I'll toss barrels then.
I go and help you do that.
I'm going to keep shoving with my shoving stick.
Okay.
What for trying to get it unstuck.
All right, so the general plan has been hatched. As you're moving and drifting out kind of very sluggishly into the water, the big old zombie corpse gatherer actually notices that you're getting away, so he starts to shuffle his way into that nasty, mucky ground.
Oh no.
When he takes a step into that marshy area, he sinks a good 10 feet down into it, though. This is a big boy, and he got some big steps. So,
can I use mold earth again?
Cantrip. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna say with that we're gonna re-enter combat just with the same initiative order. How's that?
After or before?
I'm gonna say that he took his move right there. So it's now back up to Hamu.
Okay.
I will help Colin chuck a barrel.
Okay. So y'all want to take a collective turn with like Keith? You gonna get an advantage on this roll to chuck?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Go ahead.
That work?
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask a meta question, but that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
It's all good.
Well, Keith, how strong are you?
Not
+1.
very.
Do you have a positive or negative modifier?
A +1.
Okay,
Ooh.
so how are we doing? How are we doing this, Josh? Is it just a straight up like strength save?
I'm gonna say that's a strength check, not
Okay, good.
necessarily a strength save, but it's a strength check
Yeah.
with advantage.
Okay. Yeah, you do it, Keith.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use a roll of inspiration.
Okay.
I rolled a 5 and a 1.
Okay.
Then I rolled an unnatural 20.
Okay.
That's why we use inspiration, boys and
an
girls.
unnatural 20. So you managed to get one of the barrels shuffled over to the side. Are you throwing it in the middle of the river side of the barge, or like towards the bank side of the barge?
Towards the bank.
Towards the bank, so it's behind you. Got it. So you kind of shuffle it over to that side. When you do, the weight shifts a little bit, and the bottom of the barge kicks out a little bit, so you get a little bit more movement out of it now.
Nice.
Then Hamu comes up and helps you kind of get a shoulder up under this thing, and the both of you kind of heave one of these barrels full of gold, by the way, right off the side of this barge. Now, who knows what's inside? Tune in next week. But one barrel is now off the side, and it does sink. It is a very heavy barrel. It is not floating along its way. So we got that going on, and with that, the barge actually becomes a little bit lighter, and you can hear that kind of a scraping, scooting kind of noise as it starts to let go on the bottom and starts to actually start moving downstream.
Ooh.
All right. Still got a little bit of a scraping here or there, but Bruce, what you got for us?
Can I use mold earth on that 5-foot cube I pushed up underneath us before? And
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just thinking. Go ahead.
can I like kind of slough off the sides of it so it's more like a 2-foot
slope?
circle?
Okay.
That way it's got less friction, but it also has a point to kind of rotate around so we can spin around a little faster.
Going at this from like an engineering perspective. It's very dwarfy. I like it.
We've been stuck on this bank for a while. I feel like these people should have caught up to us by now. But
Well, in game, it's been like 2 minutes.
yeah.
So so you're basically making like a little smaller area, so there's still kind of nudging it up, but at the same time, it's less of an area, so it'll slide off.
I'm just trying to have the back end kind of stuck a little, just enough to have us rotate around that point.
Okay.
So that we don't drift off backwards.
Okay.
And then once it gets turned, I'll release it entirely.
Okay. You got control. So yeah, I'm gonna say that you do that, and the barge actually kind of like slips and slides its way until a little, and you don't feel it hitting the bottom anymore. It's sitting pretty low in the water, but it's definitely made it off of the bottom. So it's probably not very much off the bottom, but it is off the bottom.
Woohoo.
All right.
So how are we at like a 90-degree angle now, or?
I'm gonna say we have hit a flat on 90.
All right, cool.
So we're gonna say that y'all are pointed straight out. The bow is pointed straight out towards the middle of the river. It's not a really fast current, but it's getting there, and it's starting to kind of swing the bow of the boat around by itself. So it is now Big Boy's turn. He is going to see if he can get another mighty step into that thing headed your direction. So he swings one zombie crafted leg over into the muck and stomps down with a mighty as big gouts of mud go gushing up into the air, and one frog tries to pull that back leg out, and it is just so difficult. It's just so much weight and everything. There's a lot of zombie muscles all combined in this, so it gets that loud, and it sounds like somebody is trying to suck a Volkswagen through a straw, but it does happen, and he gets one leg kind of balanced up for that next step. So he is in it. He is in the muck, boys. Y'all are out there into the river. Hamu, what you do? Hamu. Is she still with us?
Yeah,
there he is.
I'm gonna just keep helping Keith.
Okay, so y'all gonna chuck out some more barrels?
Yeah,
sure.
probably a good idea. I'd
Okay.
say.
All right, so we'll just continue to say you get that advantage on that.
All right. It's a good thing we had it. An 18.
An 18. All right, grab another barrel, and y'all manage to strong arm this thing right over the side of it. As you're doing that, the barge gets a little bit lighter, sits a little bit sturdier in the water. Definitely free of the bottom, so you're starting to pick up speed on the swing, and you're probably a good 45 degrees now, pointed downstream, so the other direction. So as you're
Excellent.
doing all this, you remember that smell when you came on. It's kind of been masked by all the mud that's been kicked up and everything, but there's just a rank, nasty, rancid smell that you got coming from somewhere.
Uh-oh.
All right. So that was the Hamu and the Kalin, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Bruce, what you got this time? You're out of the mud.
Okay. There's still mud close to the back of the boat, though, right?
I mean, there's probably a little bit caked on here and there, but I mean, you're out. You're free floating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're probably in like an inch and a half of water. It's not a whole lot, but you're hanging in there. You got some free movement of the boat.
All right. I don't know. Can I use mold earth to kind of give us a push?
It's mold earth. It's versatile.
It doesn't have enough force to do damage, but I assume that's more like a speed thing. It is still 5 cubic feet of mud moving.
Okay, so you're gonna slam 5 cubic feet of mud into the back of the boat.
More like shove 5 cubic feet of mud into the back of the boat.
Okay, I like the correction.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm trying to figure what kind of a roll this is going to. Just give me a straight 20. If it's higher than a 10, this is a 50-50 shot. See if you got it.
Okay. It's 2.
It's a 2. All right.
I think this is something that's more just up to you. It's not really a roll to mud.
But I didn't want it. I wanted it to be random. So, with that, it creates like a little wave of mud up behind the stern of the barge of the boat, and it kind of a little bit, but you don't get a whole lot of forward momentum from it. But you can tell that it's promising. It's definitely promising. So, all right, it's now big Zomboy's turn. He is gonna
close.
He's gonna plant that other massive tree trunk leg, and he's reached the edge of the water, and is now kind of like extending his arms zombie style towards you as you hear a loud and deeply resonating moan through the night. And just out of the side of this thing is one giant beefy arm that comes out and grabs another zombie off of its zombie body and chucks it out into the water ahead of it, as you see Guari's head stick out from the side of this thing and yell into the night, "Together!" He's still hanging in there.
Oh, together like he's with us.
Yeah. Still hanging in there, boys.
Sorry, Guari. Our goal is to separate.
It's all right. He is not even paying attention. He is in this thing. This is the battle of a lifetime. He's literally in a battle right now. All right, so it is now back top of the order. Hamu, you gonna do anything special?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay. All right, go to lend us some assistance.
Yeah, I will. Are we still trucking barrels?
I was about to lean over to you, Hamu, and I was about to say, Hamu, do you believe that this giant creature would respond to my laughter spell?
It is possible, but I do not know for certain.
Neither do I. Suppose it's worth a try.
Okay. Then I say, you do that. I will try to chuck another barrel.
When you lean over, roll a perception.
Hamu?
That's gonna be Yuki.
Okay. Well, yep. I think I rolled a tree.
Okay. Amidst these barrels, you can definitely see there's like a sludgy kind of something at the bottom of the boat.
Hmm.
Kind of amidst these barrels. And that the smell is just intensely nasty.
Hamu, do you know what this nasty stuff is on the floor?
I know. I roll perception to see. I got a nat 20. Holy crap.
Them dice are on fire tonight.
All right.
Okay. So this all happens just immediately right after Bruce kind of gave it that little bump in the back. And one of the barrels kind of shifts forward a little bit. And there is just between a couple of these barrels that have been shifting around, there's just a wad of nasty, fleshy, all kind of nast down there. Hold up while I get you a description here.
Okay.
Hold up. I'm going back to version 3 again here. So
This is
all right. The horrible creature that has come into view is a mass of free roaming intestines, flaccid organs, and a few odd rib bones. Dragging behind it is the dead head of Orson,
ugh.
the traitor. A lolling, maggot-ridden dwarven head. So, there you go. So this is a giant, nasty pile of nast, which is just nasted up in your day.
So do we call it the flaccid organ?
No, let's not. Let's not. I just sent everybody a picture over to the text. Can't get it up on the screen, but we'll see if we can get that for everybody. But yeah, it is in D&D terms. It is the skulking cyst.
Oh god. The skulking cyst.
It's some nast. It is some nast. You want me to read like a little bit of flavor text here? Do y'all want
Sure.
some flavor on this?
Absolutely.
All right, prefers shadows and dark corners, only revealing the horror of its form when it strikes lone victims from hiding. Though often cloaked in detritus of a previous victim, the skulking cyst true heart is a 1-foot diameter spherical sac that contains fluid and semi-solid necrotic flesh, which slowly undulates as if a mockery of breath.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You
Y'all
had
got
me till semi-solid, then I'm out.
Semi-solid. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, y'all got a little stowaway on your boat trip there. All right, so into the initiative order is the cyst itself, which is going to see if it can lash out with some of its juicy intestinal kind of appendages towards you. That is going to be you, Hamu, who is closest to it. Are you ready, sir?
I am.
Did we is coming before Hamu's turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, there was a perception roll and all that, so he is actually right after Hamu. So, Hamu, if you want to take anything else with your perception.
Well, no, that would be an action, so I can't really do anything else.
All right. So he's just gonna see if he can hit you with some nast. It is a 19 to hit.
That hits.
That's going to hit. So he is going to do 1d4 plus the 4 damage. So it is a 4 plus the 4. He's got 8 on you. And guess what? Guess what, my friend?
What?
He attaches to the target.
Good.
Right. So while attached, he doesn't attack. Instead, at the start of each of the turns, his turns, not yours, you lose 6 hit points. Excuse me, I can do a 1d4 plus 4. We're going to do that instead. It can detach itself, but you can just make a strength check to see if you can peel that bad boy off. And that's about it.
Cool.
All right. That is his move. Keith, it is Colin's turn.
Okay. Well, I was asked to roll a perception as well, so I assume I'm on bonus action territory.
I'm going to say that you got action because Hamu rolled it. It's okay.
Oh, I rolled one too, though.
Okay, go for it.
No, I mean, I did roll one. I just don't want to.
But you noticed all this is happening, right? You
Yeah.
didn't get surprised by this.
Yeah. I noticed there was some grime, and then Hamu cleared things up for me, pointing at the shambling cyst that is now attacking him. Hamu, are you all right in there?
Does it look like I'm all right in there?
Yeah, this thing is like wrapped some nasty old intestinal tissue around you and is like basically started to graft itself to the side of your neck. It likes you.
That's gross.
It's like the nastiest puppy you can ever imagine.
That's
all
gross.
Up in there, all over you. Yeah. So, Keith, if you did that with the perception, I'm gonna say, do you want to take a bonus action with anything?
Let me see real quickly. There's a thing that I can do that I need to try to remember how to do it.
I know Bar's got some good bonus actions in there. So,
no, I don't have anything besides Bardic Inspiration. So yeah, as a bonus action, I'm gonna do another Bardic Inspiration on Hamu.
Nice.
To say, I'll strum my lyre again, and musical magic will fill his body, and because it's been 10 minutes since the last time I gave it to him, and I'll be like, may the power of Bahamut free you from this hell. And that's all I got.
All right. It is now Bruce's move.
Do we still have Z1 and Z2 clinging to the side of the boat?
Nah, stuck in the mud. Their heads have become submerged under the water. They're still trying to get to you, but they're
all right.
Not even in sight.
I just want to take the oar and try and push us down the stream. So
you pushing?
Yep.
Right. Straight up strength. See what you got.
That's 2.
A 2? All right. Kind of gets a little stuck in the mud again. So.
I think.
All right. So you get a little bit of movement on it. You got 2 oars though, or 2 poles. So all right. Big boy zombie corpse gatherer is actually going to he is going to lunge towards your persons on the barge. He is almost the size of the barge, but he is going to come up a little bit short. So 2 massive zombie made of arms are going to lunge towards the barge and just barely hit the back end of it, knocking a couple of limbs off, a few toes, fingers, and a few arms here or there. As that massive moan, as the whole thing falls, face first, if it had a face, into the water, and hits the back of the boat, knocks a couple of the boards loose, but not off, and it actually creates a little bit of a wave that pushes you ahead by about 10 feet. So you're actually kind of sailing off into the middle of the water now, as zombie fella is well, he's just kind of face down if he had a face.
Nice.
All right. Top of the order. There you go. Yeah, we're kind of moving this around, but it's all over the place. Hamu, you got a buddy.
Yeah, I do have a buddy.
What you gonna do?
So can I get my mouth to him?
Can you get your mouth to him?
Yeah. Like, could I point my mouth at him?
Yeah, because he's like trying to attach himself like to your shouldery, neckish area, just to the side of you right there. So yeah, go for it. You gonna breathe at him?
I'm gonna breathe at him. So he's gonna make a dexterity saving throw, and I'm out of breath uses, so I'm gonna spend a key point to do that.
Yeah.
So however you want to do the dexterity saving throw is up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, so he need to roll that.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be cold damage.
I am going to say that since he is, since he's got disadvantage on it, since he is technically attached to you to your person, or trying to attach to your person, he's got a 9 on it.
He got a what?
He got a 9.
Okay, so he's gonna take a full, what was it, 7 damage, 7 cold damage, and then is Colin still close to me?
Yeah, y'all are like right there.
Awesome. I'm gonna punch at him twice.
Colin.
No, I'm gonna, I'm gonna punch at the guy twice. So
Gotcha. You're basically punching essentially something attached to you. So
yeah,
I love it.
so that's another nat 20.
Okay.
Good thing I have advantage because that's a 2.
Okay.
And 15.
Right. So a nat 20, a 2, and a 15, right?
No, well, kobolds have pack tactics,
Yeah.
so you have advantage if an ally is within 5 feet. So
Okay.
I rolled like a I don't know like a 8 or something, and then the 20 on the first attack, and then on the bonus action attack I rolled a 2 and no, I rolled an 8 on that one, 2 and an
Okay.
8. So yeah, 20 and 15.
Okay. So yeah, AC is 14 on this bad boy. You got him.
Heck yeah. 13 damage for the first attack, and 10 damage for the second. So that's 30 damage to this little thing. Cold damage.
30 damage.
Yes, sir.
That is a powerful 1-2 you got there. With a little slight haze of a shriek coming from the mouth of the former Orson, the traitor. This creature is now dead.
Heck
It
yeah.
falls to the floor of the thing. You said it's cold damage, right?
Yes, sir.
Cold damage. Falls to the floor of the barge, and just some of that visceral fluid that it was covered in is kind of frozen and kind of like flakes off in little ice chunks.
Grody.
It's a nast sickle.
Can I use a free action to just like kick its corpse off the boat?
You know what? Yeah, that thing was nasty. Yeah.
There we go. Hamu's like breathing heavy and like rubbing his shoulder, and he's just kind of like, that was the most disgusting thing I have ever seen.
I have to agree from my position as well. One of the worst things I've ever seen as well. Right next to the 40-foot tower of corpses shambling toward us from over there.
All right, so that is the end of my turn. I have to pee.
Do it. All right. I'm going to say that is Bruce's turn. Actually, no, that was Hamu. It is now Colin's turn.
So that thing is dead and gone.
There are no more enemies on El Barjo, and the big old zombie corpse gatherer fella is now face down, kind of scrambling and shambling through that mucky, nasty water at the edge of the water.
How far is he from us, and do we look like we're gonna be like moving, gonna be able to outrun this thing?
I'm gonna say he like the edge of his arms are about 15 feet away at this point.
Okay. So
his main body would say that's your 30 feet.
Gotcha. And we don't seem to be moving that fast.
His collective body is prone in the water, if that does help.
Gotcha. Can I still see Gwari's head poking out of the side of it or whatever?
Every now and then you get a glimpse of his head, and then that is impressive. Every now and then you get a glimpse of his head, and you see a bit of a booted foot here or there, another non-booted foot, one hand, all that kind of stuff. You don't get a glimpse of his whole body.
Okay. Well, as long as I can see his head, I want to give this a shot to see if we can't slow him down.
I'm gonna say that he pokes his head out right here.
All right, I'm gonna look him in his crazy eyes, and I'm gonna cast hideous laughter on him again, or hideous laughter again. Yeah.
What? All right, roll it up.
I want to cast hideous laughter on Gwari. A creature of my choice that I can see within range perceives everything as hilariously funny and falls into fits of laughter. If the spell affects it, the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or fall prone, becoming incapacitated and unable to stand up for the duration. A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less isn't affected.
Got it. All right, roll it up.
You would roll a wisdom.
I don't think it's happening with a 6, brother.
Yeah, wisdom saving throw. No, he fails. So Gwari, if you allow the spell to apply to him, is now incapacitated. He's fallen prone, and he finds everything uncontrollably funny, and he's unable to stand up for the duration of the spell. At the end of each of its turns, the creature's turns, and each time it takes damage, the target can make another wisdom saving throw. The target has advantage if it's triggered by damage.
Dang. Okay. Well, this guy is pretty much constantly taking damage, but he don't really feel a whole lot of it. His body's so dang thick.
Yep.
So from a distance away, you see his head poke up, and you just kind of hit him with your it's just hideous laughter.
Hideous laughter.
Hideous laughter. You're hitting him with the hideous laughter, and for the brief moment that you see his head above the tide of zombies, you see his eyes light up and a little smile, just a little smile, creep across his face. That's about all the muscle movement would allow in his face. And as he starts to submerge up underneath the wave of zombies, you hear, and then he starts to go under again. All right. That's about it on this one, fellas. That big boy is prone. Y'all are getting some movement out into the water. Bruce has kind of nudged y'all out a little bit, and the zombie has pushed you a bit downstream. The zombie is gonna continue to try to get up, but other than that, y'all are out in the middle of El River. I'm gonna say you're another 30 feet away from this fella. You're actually picking up some speed in the current.
I have now realized I made a mistake, but I have a way to make it sound like I meant to do it.
Yeah.
So for the
You're only drifting out.
Yeah, you're out and you're actually headed downstream now. So
All right.
so what you got?
When I decided to cast that spell, I know I asked this earlier, but it didn't click for me late until just now that Gwari is not controlling this amalgamation of corpses.
No.
I thought that when I cast a spell on him, I thought I was going to incapacitate this thing by making the whole thing laugh. But now I'm going to change it to my desire was it's my fault he's stuck in the corpses because I suggested he run. So I'm trying to at least let him go out laughing instead of dying in pain. He can go out in laughter as he is consumed.
That is awesome.
So let's change that real quick and make it where I'm less stupid.
Good job, Kai. You ain't got to outrun the bear. You just got to outrun the other guy.
Sometimes, yes, sometimes.
All right. Any other actions at this point?
I got nary a thing.
All right. So, Xena's Hamu got any actions you want to take right now? We have just exited the combat zone.
No, sir, he don't.
Okay. Bruce got anything?
Nope. I want to use the oars to get us moving as quick as possible.
All right. You kind of shuffling that oar back and forth to try to get it moving. All right. So y'all are headed out downstream a bit. You see this flailing mass of zombies kind of wiggle its way out into the deeper water as it disappears beneath the water's edge. Every now and then you can see one big meaty chunk of it kind of up above the surface as it tries to kind of lurch its way out into the water to find where you went to. All right.
You want to say Z1 and Z2 got incorporated?
Sure, just sucked them up into the whole vacuum of corpses along the way. All right. Yep.
A little blob of.
Yep. The cyst. Might as well pick up the cyst as it's going. Why not? Add to the collection. Got to collect them all Pokemon style. Really, 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 really nasty Pokemon style. All right, so we got a barge with 8 barrels remaining, and y'all scooting down the river.
All right.
Hey, 2 questions. First, are we taking a rest? Second, I want to search the barrels.
Okay, you may take a short rest, and yes, you may search the barrels.
All right. I can get something back.
For a rest.
Not much of a time for a rest, but y'all actually defeated everything that was coming at you, so you take a short.
I didn't use any of my stuff because I didn't want to use it and not be able to get a rest.
Okay.
Yay, I get my breath weapon back.
All right, so we got a little bit of a short going on. Who's checking what barrel?
I'm just leaned up against the side, man. I'm not doing anything.
Got it. So you're just kind of strumming along, taking a little break, just
Trying to-
getting a little rest.
Yeah, figure out what life's all about.
Paddling, trying to get us away from the giant corpse monster,
Got it.
glaring at my companion who is sitting there doing nothing, strumming his lute.
And then I stand up and begin to help.
All right. So you're gonna help search the barrels, or you're gonna help push the barge away from imminent doom.
Keith,
Do what now?
You said you help. Are you helping with the barrels? You helping with the pushing?
I'm helping the
barge?
pushing. I'm helping the pushing. I stand up. Like, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, Bruce. I know we need the speed.
There you go. All right. So you get a little bit more speed on. You get a little bit more speed. All right. If you got less speed, you get more of a rest, but that's okay. All right. So Hamu is going through barrels. Hamu, which one you gonna bust open? You got 8 of them.
Whichever one is closest to me.
Closest to you. We're gonna say that as barrel number 5. Okay. You bust that thing open. I'm instead of doing a strength check and everything, I'm just gonna say that you got this. You got enough time to start working over it. Okay.
Okay. What do I roll to determine what I find?
Just roll an investigation.
Okay, that worked for me. That's a 7.
A 7. Okay. You can definitely tell that this barrel has some
Wait.
sulfur in it.
Wait, hang on. It hasn't been 10 minutes, has it?
10 minutes since.
Since I got blessed with the bardic inspiration.
No, you good. This is just a couple minutes after all this went down.
So, will you allow a roll of it?
Go for it. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All yours.
Well, that's a 1, so I got 8.
All right. All right. So
Boo, bardic inspiration.
it is an ore of some sort that looks like it's not quite refined, but you can definitely tell with an 8 that there are some little flecks of gold and silver in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
There you go. There you go.
So for my help, when you do a short rest, do you get any spell slots back? I forget how that works.
No, not on spell slots. But short rest, you can roll a number of hit dice up to your maximum number of hit dice. I think it's based on character level, and then you regain health that way.
Okay, I don't remember what my hit dice are.
Your hit dice are a D8.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Apologies for the derailment.
Yeah, you can only up to the character's maximum number of hit dice. So yeah.
Okay.
You also add your Constitution modifier to every dice you roll.
Cool. Well, I've used 2 and regained all of the health I had lost.
There you go. I have decided to roll all of mine to recover health if the DM permits.
That's fine.
I don't even know what my full health is.
I don't know. Just going all or nothing.
Okay, my max health is 45.
It's not bad.
Mine's 25.
Really? Holy crap.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Then you've done really good. I'm glad I didn't throw out some big beefos toward y'all.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that, but
Oh, that was kind of a low one for a level 5. So. I don't know.
it'd
Did
be
you
like
ever
that.
roll each health?
Huh?
Did you roll each health?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I just took the average. You may have gotten some low rolls.
I might have.
Sometimes it's good just to take an average.
Well,
I don't know.
Hang on, Keith. Do you have a Constitution modifier?
My Constitution modifier is like negative.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yes, -1.
All right. While y'all are doing all those calculations in the background, we've just about to get towards that 2-mile mark to get to the nearby town to alert them of the danger impending upon them. Is there any other barrels or other actions that you wish to investigate, do, or otherwise something?
I would like to search one more barrel if I could.
Which one?
Barrel number 6.
Number 6, so the one just next door.
Sure.
Okay. Roll an investigation.
Well, that's a 10.
That's a 10. You don't even have to open this one because as you tilt it up to check out what's on top of it, the side of it becomes clear with a large burnished label in it that says Bruce Good Ales. Good.
Hamu goes "Ah," and like tosses the thing back.
So you don't mention it to anybody.
Yeah, he just yeah.
Oh man! All right, I love it. All right, so you are quickly approaching the nearby town. You can kind of see a little town, a little village up on the side of the river on the leftmost bank. So yeah, Bryce is drawing it all out. It's all good.
Okay.
Okay, you know, down this
Oh,
way. Done. Move the whole thing.
how does that even?
You have
occur?
one job. Oh. All right, so the river itself, just for everybody who can't look at the map, the river itself is about 200 feet wide. This ain't the Mississippi, but I mean, it's a good sized little river going on.
Mm-hmm.
So you have crossed over the midsection and you're kind of headed over towards the far bank from where you started. And you are quickly approaching a nearby little town that you didn't quite catch the name of earlier. You're in such a hurry.
Mm.
There's a few little docks kind of point out to the side, and there's what looks to be one dock specifically that actually has a few other little trading barges out next to it. And it looks to be sort of a gathering spot, a tavern for these local traders coming up and down river. So there you go.
So, what are the odds that this town is also covered in the viscera of its once residents?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get down there. But
Somebody, go ahead.
what are the odds of us stopping if it is, and we can tell from the bank? Should we just keep on floating downriver or actually stop?
If this town is overrun by dead people, I'd prefer if we continue to just keep floating down the river.
All right.
So somebody roll me a perception.
I do it.
I too will peel my eyes.
Do it.
Pee on my eyes.
I will pee on my eye holes.
You had that skin in your eye earlier.
11.
Yep.
11?
13.
13.
Dagnabbit.
Zenith.
18 for your boy.
8. Okay. All right. So with the 18, you're definitely going to see it. The fellas, they got a little hint of something going on, but that slight purplish haze that was kind of coming from off of the light from the comet overhead is diminished a little bit. It's not quite as bright as it was.
Keith,
I point that out.
I tabbed over to your stream
Mm-hmm.
and saw you yawn, and it was the same time I was yawning. So it's really contagious.
Yep.
Even through the
It made me want to yawn, but I'm battling it out. The will is winning. All right.
Well,
So what we got going on? The purple light, what caused the calamity, is not quite as strong. It seems to be fading a little.
very well, Hamu. Maybe this town is not being currently destroyed the way the one was we just left.
One can hope, can't they?
All right, so we stopping to check it out, or what are we doing, boys?
If I can't, I suppose we should stop and check it out. We agreed that's what we do. There's no guarantee that our employer is dead where we left him. Highly likely, but not guaranteed.
Yeah, he's down in that mine. I'm sure he's got some amount of protection in there. Yeah, let's go see what's going on.
Can I dock us?
You could try. Roll another perception.
Oh, yeah. That's 14.
Okay, 14 because you're at the back of the boat. Keith, are you at the back of the boat, or are you at the kind of midships, kind of poling the way down?
I assume I'd be I'm wherever Bruce Goodale is, because I was trying to help him pull.
I was cool.
You percept as well. So y'all
Okay.
are both in kind of the rear, holding this thing down.
Please excuse the sound of the dogs. I apologize. I rolled an 11.
14?
Yeah.
All right. What did you get? 11.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You don't quite make it out, but Bruce can very, very faintly hear the sound of this very faint laugh as a small wake begins to show behind the boat, about 40, 50 feet out.
You hear something?
I didn't before, but I think I can make it out now. Sounds kind of like laughter?
Yeah, I was worried that might be what I was hearing too.
I hear a doggy.
Yep,
It sounds
sorry.
like a doggy. What do you do, gentlefolk?
Does
Pray.
this mean go faster, or what do you want to do?
I don't feel like we can stop if this zombie creature is behind us, chasing us.
Well, I believe he's floating the same direction we are. He had trouble getting into the river to begin with. He might have some trouble getting out.
You're a smart man, Bruce. I'll follow your lead.
Hey, I'm just a redneck. I'm following your lead, big hoss. Give
But-
the word and I'll dock us.
I've lived a decent life so far, I suppose. Might as well dock, and maybe it'll be easier to hide in buildings than it will be on the river.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Hamu, I assume you'd like to punch the thing.
If given an opportunity, I would enjoy that. But I would rather live instead of die foolishly.
It seems that
Scaly beanstalk.
it seems Hamu is on the same page with us as well, Bruce. We might as well dock and see what can be done.
That that floating bulge of water behind you has just broken the surface, and you see a mass of zombies raise up above the water as you hear as it stumbles forward and starts to wade towards your area.
Hey guys, is that man still alive in there?
I believe he is, and my spell is still on him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your spell would have ended if he had bit the big one.
Agreed.
All right, headed to dock or headed downstream?
I believe we said dock, right?
Yep. Dock this thing. We'll see what we can do on land.
Hamu, you gonna grab the rope? Who's grabbing the rope to catch this thing on the dock?
Yeah, I'll grab the rope. Why not?
All right, just dex that thing up and see what we got for snagging the mooring.
Well, that's a 16.
So yeah, you got it. So you lasso that thing and kind of get everything navigated towards the dock. Y'all actually managed to get towards the end of the dock close enough that you could leap off if you so desire. Are we taking the time to tie off, or are we just going to roll with this and just jump off action hero style?
I would like to roll stealth to jump off stealthily.
Okay, roll some stealth to jump off sneaky style.
25.
Okay, nobody noticed you get off that boat. Okay, the boat is tied up, and then I don't know where Hamu went. He might have gone to get some snacks or something. I don't know.
Did he tie it off?
Yep. Well, he roped it and he grabbed it and pulled y'all close.
Okay.
It's not attached.
No, yeah, I did not tie it off.
Well,
Okay.
then I want to follow that way, but I want to tie it off with a easy, just pull it and it releases not.
Okay, so just a quick, like a little bunny bow then.
Yeah.
Got it.
Cool.
All right.
Do I need to roll for knot tying?
Roll a dexterity just to see how you do on that knot tie. Yeah, you got it.
All right.
You got it. It's an 18 for everybody listening in the homeward audience. So
Nice.
he got that thing. Is it in one deft move? He only uses like 2 fingers too, and he gets that thing tied. Just a beautiful little knot. So
Exceptional.
anybody else?
I'm want to hop off the boat and be shouting, "Everyone in this fine town, you're going to want to come out of your homes and run!"
Okay. You don't see any particular action from the town, although you hear a lot of like laughter and cheer and things going on from the nearby tavern, nearby inn, which is right here on the edge by the dock. So
Do I hear that?
sure,
I want to start
right
running,
there.
running towards that tavern.
All right, running toward that tavern. As you're running towards the tavern, are you doing your full movement speed?
Yep.
As you're running towards the tavern, this amalgamation of zombie death has now gotten into the shallower water over by the docks and has now gained a lot of dead corpses along the bottom of the water, which don't go swimming in that river, by the way. Along with the cyst, which is now stuck to one of the zombies, which is now hanging off the side of it. The 2 zombies that were hanging off the side of the boat earlier is now grown in size to about 55 feet tall. It is in about 10 feet of water, so yeah, it's 45 feet of zombie horde sticking out of the water, and it begins to kind of make its way towards the general area of the dock.
This river is a lot wider than I had it drawn, ain't it?
Yeah, about like 200 feet. It ain't a Mississippi, but it ain't a creek either. So
Yeah.
All right. So you're headed towards the inn or
Tavern.
tavern. Yeah, you're headed
Yep.
towards the tavern.
Full sprint.
Where did Hamu go?
We don't know. He's stealth.
Hamu is sneakily following the group. He just
Okay.
Hamu did not want that thing to see where he went, but
I got you. So in all the action going on, nobody quite sees where Hamu is at with that original stealth roll of a 24. Bruce has run towards the tavern, supposedly not to sell them on his immaculate ale that he makes, but to warn them of impending danger. You knock on the door,
No, I just
bust it down.
I mean, I imagine
Bust
it's unlocked.
There you go.
I
Open up
just-
that door.
I enter.
There you go.
I run to the bar,
All right. So you enter, you run to the bar,
huffing and puffing.
huffing and puffing the whole way.
Is there a guy at the bar drinking?
There's a very large guy at the bar drinking. Very old guy, old dwarven fella.
I take his drink and I hold up a finger as I chug it. Like, give me a second.
Hey, now what's with that there?
Still finger holding
Hey,
up.
now what? A
Gulp,
moment.
gulp,
Hey,
gulp.
barkeep, whoa, what's he doing?
And I slam it down on the counter. Oh, guys, y'all got to get out of here. There's a horde of, I don't know, there's been some kind of magical outbreak at the mining town down the river.
All right, a human man actually comes up to the bar as the barkeep. Sir, what are you doing here? You just stole this man's drink. What are you talking about?
I'll pay for it if you want. Wait, that didn't taste like Bruce's good ale. How about this? I'll give you a whole cask of Bruce Good Ale's finest good ale if you will just listen to me for 5 seconds. That's about all the time you got, son.
A whole cask.
Yeah, you see, do you recognize my face? It's on every barrel. I'm Bruce. I Bruce Good Ale.
Are you sure?
Well, are you blind?
All right. So if you are, it better be top shelf. What have you got?
We've got a big, like 50, 55 foot tall problem right now.
You're pulling me leg.
Well, I'm gonna pull your leg over here to this window. You can check it out for yourself.
No. Wait just a minute.
Come on, just anybody, look out the window and tell this man there's something skulking through the water out there.
Is Hamu and Kyle Lynn still outside?
I'm at this point peeking through the door and saying, Bruce, we've got to go. If they won't watch, they won't see it. Let's just go.
Hang on, give me like 3 seconds.
Where's Hamu?
I am beside Colin sneakily.
Okay, you're sneaking. You're paying attention to everything, trying to stay in the shadows and stay hidden. Roll one good perception check for me.
I will do you one better. I will roll a bad perception check.
All right.
Well, I rolled a 13.
13. Yeah, it's a subtle change, but you notice it. There's a little flash of light, not nearly as intense as it was to start all of this craziness going on, but it's just a little pulse of light. And all of that purplish haze that was there is now just kind of vanished from your sight. That 55-foot tall amalgamation of zombie horrors that was starting to loom up in the direction of the dock has almost made it there when the little pulse flashes. The whole group of zombies just kind of discombobulates.
Discombobulate.
And everything just kind of falls apart. They lose cohesion, and all of them fall into the river and just start floating down the river, a little faster than the barge was going, but the huge zombie creature is now no more, and there is one very bruised and battered but very tough-looking dwarf amongst them, just laughing the entire way, saying, "Again! Again!"
Did I see any of that?
You're inside.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say I tapped Colin's shoulder, and kind of like just pull his attention and say,
Colin, look.
What? Oh, it's you, Hamu. Good God. What?
Look what
Where did it go?
There was a flash of light, and then it fell apart.
Did
We
you
should get Bruce.
Did you see from which point the flash of light emanated?
Did I see from which point the flashlight emanated?
Just
The
flash.
sky.
The sky.
Do I see them standing in the door whispering?
Well, you're focused on trying to get the barkeep
Well,
over
I'm
to the window.
I'm gesturing that way, so
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
okay.
I'll give you that one. So as you're gesturing and trying to get the barkeep or anybody to come towards the door, comes toward the window, take a look at the horrors which are about to be upon them. Everything kind of falls apart just as you reach the door, just as people are starting to scramble to the windows to see what danger is coming.
Well, I didn't want to walk over there yet. Just
Okay.
Hey, Kai, Beanstalk, tell him what's going on out there.
Well,
It fell apart.
yes, he's right. It fell apart.
It destroyed the barge already?
No, the Hamu. You tell him. You saw it.
The creature fell apart after a flash of light came from the sky.
So now we got just a bunch of little zombies all running around over the place trying to kill us now, right?
No, they seem to be dead as well.
How convenient.
Yes.
All right, false alarm, everybody. Drinks on me.
False alarm. But okay, drinks are on you. I'll give you that one. But what are you talking about?
Come on. I'm sure you can still see some dead bodies all floating down the river.
And he takes a look out the window and just kind of gives it a cursory glance. I don't see what you're talking about.
do I see them?
I mean, if you're really looking, yeah. But I mean, he's not committed to it. He thinks that you're trying to pull his leg. He thinks you're trying to pull a fast one.
All right. If you're not gonna believe me, that's fine. Hang on. You got something I can write down on? I'll give you a certificate to redeem for a barrel of my ale. You gave me 5 seconds listening. You didn't listen too good, but
All right. He starts pulling out like a piece of parchment for you to write something down on. But what's all this about? You just barge in here and tell me there's danger and there's
I barged in, what for telling you that there was a giant monster on the way to destroy the town because of a magic outbreak of some kind. And it looks like the magic outbreak has either taken a break or ended, something of that manner. But now the giant monster that was made of corpses floating down the river is now floating down the river as a small stream of corpses instead. Who do I make this out to?
Right. Ollie, here, talk to this man for a minute. See if you can set him straight. And the old guy that you took the beer from earlier is kind of giving you the eyeball, but he kind of sets you straight. All right, make it out of this person. Actually, he's telling you to make it out of him, but still. The barkeep actually looks towards you two in the door. You two, you came in with this. What? Where did you come from?
We came from down the street, or down the river, 2 miles up, and that whole town was destroyed in a wave of flesh and horror. It was in pursuit of us in the form of a giant humanoid form, and now we're here. Well, moments later. And it's not happening anymore. So, to be honest, I'm quite confused. Hamu, quite confused?
I'm not unhappy.
Yes.
Good.
Sorry, Beanstalk. Go ahead and make your creepy noises.
That is rude. And once I have ascended to the rank of chosen, you will not be so flippantly dismissive of me.
Yes, I really love your character. I won't say that.
Yeah.
All right. And the barkeeper's kind of just rubbing his head. He's got like the whole headache kind of thing going on. So just come in. Come. I'll pour you a drink. Come on. And he invites you to come on up to the bar, and he actually pours you all 3 very large, very tall glasses of some of his finest ale, which is definitely not Bruce Good Ale's good ale, but it's still pretty good. Now, I appreciate what you've done here, but you said you come down river, right?
Yes, we did.
From the next town, right?
The one
Yes,
from
sir.
up the river, yes.
The mining town.
Right. Well, I don't know how to tell you this, boys, but we're the last town on this river. Everything else is below us, and that's 50 miles away.
Huh?
Roll credits.
Wait, before we roll credits, can I say, Hamu, and the rest of you for that matter, would you like to hear one of Bahamut's favorite songs? I only break it out when I'm very confused.
Yes.
I take out my lyre and I begin to play. Ba da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. And then I was about to sing "A Kiss from a Rose," but I don't think I'm gonna do that now.
As the soft tune is playing, the scene fades away, and your party ends in a tavern.
There you go.
And that's what you get when you play D&D backwards.
Was that the whole point?
No, not the whole point, but yeah.
There used to be a graying tower alone on the
Similarity
sea.
to this is that good old fashioned Shyamalan twist at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shyamalan didn't touch that one. Thank God for that.
I know, but it's still the idea of it.
Well,
Yeah, you gotta have some twists in D&D here and there.
absolutely. Well, there you go. Maybe we'll be able to find out at some point what happened.
You never know. What happened to Gwari? Who knows? Was Gwari actually an actual person? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I thought he was a tree.
He
Josh
could have been
knows.
free the whole time.
Josh
I know.
knows.
Does anybody else know? We don't know, but I know, and I'm not telling.
Right.
So, we can pick this up with another adventure at some point. We can continue on with these characters if you so choose for other adventures. But yeah, just want to tie things up in a nice, neat little bow, or leave it open so we can continue going.
Sure.
Who knows?
Well, I, for one, am glad we didn't have to fight that creature. If you enjoy this show where you're listening to it, please leave us a review on your favorite podcasting app. And continue to stay tuned for the next episode. Should be the first episode. Episode 1.0 or 2.0 of episode 1 of season 2 of Dungeon Boys should be coming up. But we'll go ahead.
This is the second time a Dungeon Boys has been attempted, though, so it's season 2 of Dungeon Boys Mark II.
Oh my gosh, it surely is.
Reboot.
It really is. But we hope you look forward to it. Thank you so much for listening to our little show. We only want to make it better and improve it for you. I appreciate Josh for taking the driver's seat on this one, giving me a break for 2 weeks so I can get to work on some more Medine for you all. So I look forward to sharing that with you, and I had a wonderful time. But this ends the current Josh's one shot. Please remember that we love you very, very much. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Bye-bye.
Later.
There you go. There you have it. Now,
We survived once again.
I enjoyed that thoroughly.
I had a good time too.
Well, that's the point of D&D. Everybody get together, have a great time. So I think we've done it, fellas.
Yep. To those of you in the chat, thank you for being here. I know there are not many of you left. But we thank you for being around. And next time, hopefully next week, we'll be able to set up with some webcams and get things situated for one another. We do have a new program we want to be trying to use eventually to do D&D. We may not start out on it this coming week. I don't have quite enough time to get it set up. But
Brace
we will.
yourselves, good people.
Yes, it should be a good time. A good time. I hope that you all had a wonderful time. This ends the stream. Please remember that we love you very much. Good night.
Bye.
Toodles.
Later.